Hey, what's up, Go enthusiasts? Hello, everybody. Boop. The game is just about to start. Shin Jinseo versus KataGo. Game 3. 1-1. Best of 3. This is the decider matchup. Hello, everybody in the chat. Showing up early. Let me make sure I have everything in the way. Good. Okay. I'm pretty sure they're about to start here. Pretty sure. It would be funny if I was an hour off. If they changed it on me. I don't think they do. Um, there's the proper live stream that, right? Which is normal Korean. I wanted. Go and check on they're doing box. Look, this is the appropriate. Should be starting soon. Should be starting it any moment now. Go back and check. KataGo will get 40 seconds for this game. Oh, interesting. They're going to give KataGo more time. Oh, I'm trying to find the Korean stream that had oh, I guess that has Shinjinso KataGo. Currently, they're doing a recap of Shinjinso KataGo yesterday. Seems like. It would be funny if they bamboozled me, started the game at a different time. They bamboozled all the viewers who are here as well. Really not. Not. We can just watch another game in the meantime. It's raining in Korea right now, so there's a delay. The venue had to be changed. Aha! Thank you. Thank you for the information in chat. Okay, so, well, what to do during the delay? Should we watch some other pro game? Let's watch some other pro game. Yeah, they're just reviewing the second game on the live feed from Korean TV right now. I guess I can just go open that up. Have it. This is the one. Okay. Yeah, they're just reviewing the second game on the YouTube channel right now. Okay. So this is a pro game between a Chinese 3-dan professional and a Japanese 5-dan professional. They've played 31 times. The results are 23 wins for black, 8 wins for white on Fox. It's a 30-second Vyoyomi game, which by professional Fox game standards is uh classical game. Oh, there's a Gosei title match going on right now. Is that what this one is? This is Iyama versus Sada. Okay. We can take a look at this one properly then. Perhaps more interesting. The Gosei title match. These guys have so much time. So they're going to try to play a pristine game for us. Give kick and jump like that. Black played the approach. And white shoulder hit. I like this kind of shoulder hit against the people who approach. The 3-3 is supposed to be hard to build from, but if you cover it and you like make it impossible to approach later, it ends up being pretty easy to build from. So I think it's hard to build from if and only if you know that you're supposed to come in and shoulder hit it or press it down and do something about it quickly. And when you do this, now it's very hard to build from. Now Black will just have to answer to make sure he doesn't get that stone too weak. And you can see that the black territory on the top side isn't going to be that big anymore. What is this character? Hong Kong? Does this mean it's supposed to be Japanese and is translated in my chat? Interesting. Hong Kong, hello, Struggle Bus. So black played the so after this and white leans. This is putting pressure on that one stone, but black didn't want to just answer and be too small, so black played the bottom left Joseki. A lot of people these days are playing the extend down instead of the hane. The hane is better if you want the opponent to answer, right? Because it makes their answer a better shape. And so the reason why black haned is that white has this group in the bottom right, which is supposed to be really strong. And so black isn't supposed to fear white building the bottom side, I guess. And so white didn't do that. White plays on the right side, pincer. I don't know, if I were black, I would ignore and play on the bottom. maybe I'm the... Yeah, this is what I would do as well. Ignore and peep like this. So the premise is that white could have accepted here this last move, and then it would have been that the pushing exchange is a little bit of a bad exchange, but white answers in a slightly small area. I don't know if you have to accept like this. Maybe you can accept wider, play some wide move, that would be fine. But in general, I feel that this peep, if you don't accept, means that the white stones are even more misplaced. And it's even easier to try to sort of attack them as you break the bottom side. So white doesn't want to go along with black's plan. It's going to try to change it to surround the two stones on the right side. Maybe black can play like jump. Push here. Seems okay. This one means filling liberties. My idea of jumping here is not directly trying to fill liberties, but more like put pressure and save. Chat message said it'll start 20 minutes late. Okay. Thank you very much. People joking on the Korean broadcast, they KataGo made a run for it. Dodging responsibilities. Jump here. Interesting. I can understand the jump. Like the one space jump makes a lot of sense under the context that these stones are short of liberties. When you get shorted, you have to pay attention to that just as much as when your opponent gets shorted. I think a lot of people like to play against the opponent's short of liberty, but they don't like to play when they're short of liberty. And so this is the kind of thing you have to do sort of prophylactically when the opponent is shorting your liberty, is make sure you move in a restrained way and you allow the opponent to like squeeze you. Like this allows a peep, this allows some pressure from over here. All of these things are allowed with the intent that white's going to get away with it in the end. So attach here is another way to go about it, to try to expose short liberty somewhere. Is it going to be wedge now? That's the obvious thing. Does the KataGo team get any prize money for the wins, or only Shin? I believe it's only Shin, and I don't know if there's a team behind KataGo, so to say. If you want to be on KataGo's team, then you can just go to KataGo training. Oop, yeah, I have my touchscreen open here. How's it looking? Everything all set? Maybe you can go a bit more like this. Yeah, so katagotraining.org, you can go there if you want to be part of KataGo team. But really, KataGo is a sole development by David Wu, and then trained by the community. I think it's a nice way to do it. And obviously, that's how it originally was. Many people have contributed to the KataGo GitHub because the GitHub is public. So if you want to be a KataGo contributor or part of the KataGo team properly, you can go to the GitHub and use some of the like open things, something like that. Just whoever is responsible for setting it up. No, I don't think they get any money. I think the people responsible for setting it up are the people who are paying the money to Shin. I don't think they're making the money. I think they're the ones making the payout. Yeah, so anyway, here this is an interesting position for Yama in the Go set, where wedge looks tempting, right? But if you wedge, the opponent will almost certainly extend. I guess they can never really Hane. I think wedge is the right thing to do. Yeah, wedge looks good. Oh, they decided to Atari, thinking they could never Atari from the other side anyway, and that they wanted the tiger's mouth, which seems fine. Okay, this is fair. Will Shin win a luxury car? That's what we have to see today. If I were black here, I think I would Hane first, almost no matter what. I just like that Hane so much. But the, yeah, the black player in the game, Iyama, is a bit more flexible than me. I think most pros will just Hane here, I'm thinking. In the Gosei, you have enough time that you get to think to do a more advanced concept. But, yeah. I don't know if it's necessarily better than the brain off Hane. The Hane just looks so big, don't you guys think? When black plays like literally any move here, I don't care what it is, I want to extend. Jinseo at the board. Let me check my my live stream. Yes, he's sat down. The camera crew are ready. Now they always do some ceremonial camera shots, so I believe we'll be waiting for another 5 minutes or so. Okay, white chose to connect here rather than to play outside, meaning that the 2 stones on the bottom side should be weaker. But black should be able to take care of those really freely. He should still get a chance. Yeah, white should still get a chance to extend here, because I think black will be taking care of these on the bottom side in Gote. I don't think it's good for black to Hane now, because the extend from white is sort of ruining your chances to counterattack it by running up through here, where you would often prefer to play moves which are running your group on the bottom side out rather than the extend. So maybe that's a good reason why he didn't choose to play the Hane first. I wonder whether AI says white should extend in the center. AI says you should lean. So this move from white is the top move. And jump in the center is like third choice rather than extend. Anyway, this is an interesting position that you'll have to figure out in the Gosei. It's time for us to head back to Jinseo versus KataGo. 20 minutes delayed. I didn't know. Let's see. And we have the first move from white on Fox. The 3-4 in the upper left. Did KataGo do a 3-4 in the last game? It did a 4-4, didn't it? KataGo definitely did a 4-4 in the last game. So this time, KataGo plays 3-4. already eliminating the hopes of that commenter in my YouTube that hoped that game 3 would just be a direct one-to-one repetition of game 2. Not possible. Am I gonna review the Gosei match? Pretty unlikely. Maybe if it's a very, very fun game, then yes, but I'm going to Go Congress, the US Go Congress very soon. And yeah, I still haven't posted the video. I already recorded it, but I haven't edited it on the NA Pro Quals. I don't know if Sada is influence-oriented player or Yama has made Sada play influence, but his moyos have been on point. Interesting. No more flying knife in KataGo's corner, at least, but Jinseo may very well play 4-4 and hope to be invaded. Instead, it looks like he's playing a 3-4. Oh, no? What? Okay. Something strange happening on the... Oh, I think that's the description board. It's not Jinseo himself. They have another board where the... on the stream, they have black playing 3-4-4-4 approach of taking them all back. I don't think Jinseo is actually wavering that much. Yeah, I think that it's the analysis board that they were just throwing some stones on. Normally the Korean analysis is very thorough about making sure that the variation stones have these circles on them, so you know they're variation stones. I'll link to you guys the Korean stream that I'm watching, describing this about. It is quite odd for Shin Jinseo to spend 2.5 minutes of his allotted 5 hours, which he gets some extra time after the 5 hours is up, but only a very small Buyomi. It's pretty odd to spend it all, 2.5 minutes on the first move, but eventually he seems to have played the 3-4 and the bottom right. So not necessarily heading to another flying knife. I mean, it could. But yes. So Shin Jinseo played this 3-4. It's interesting also to choose between which 3-4. I think the kind of thing which, since Shin Jinseo has played so many games at the top level, he actually does know the difference between the two and like what he's expecting between the two. He needs to reset because they started late. I mean, definitely you can take some time for mental reset. I don't mind that. The TV crew can be very annoying. I'm sure. Okay. So we have the 3-4. KataGo made an enclosure in the upper left. Note the 2-space high enclosure. Good enclosure to play if you think you're the better player than the other guy, because black often needs to invade that. Shin Jinseo will be very scared of invading that. It'll start fights all over the place, right? And he can definitely make errors in those fights, which lose him the game. The knight's move in the bottom left serves sort of double duty against that enclosure. Not only does it mean that white can't easily continue to build the entire left side, but also it grows the bottom side, and with the 3-4 sort of further away, the bottom side is a bigger space to potentially grow. And Jinseo certainly happy to play this enclosure. And then white approached in the upper right. Now, in the previous couple games, we saw Shin Jinseo just back off on the 4-4 to the knight's move back off, thinking this is fine enough, and it's very, very stable. I don't know whether he'll do it in this game. We have the resources to build a bot that can beat Shin Jinseo more than half the time giving 3 stones. This is just not true, and the reason why is that it's pretty hard to understand how big the difference is of 2 stones to 3 stones at this level. What it actually is, 2 stones with no Komi is 1.5 stones. And what 3 stones with no Komi actually is 2.5 stones. That's roughly speaking like 18 points and 30 points. Yeah, maybe we have bots which can be built to be beating Shin Jinseo. Like if we put in effort to train Shin Jinseo, or to train the bot to beat Shin Jinseo. Like if we train the bot, for example, on Shin Jinseo's games and the type of mistakes that he makes, and we say this is our anti-Shin Jinseo bot, which we could do, but we didn't do that, which is I think pretty nice. If we made an anti-Shin Jinseo bot, then it has to perform like way better than just KataGo in this match. Like way better. And it has to perform way better than Fine Art is performing against the pros on Fox if it wants to be able to win on 3 stones more than half the time. Because what a handicap game is a race against the space on the board. And over the course of a game, you should play, roughly speaking, let's say 300 moves. If it's an antagonistic bot, it's not going to have any easy wins, right? We're going to try to fight over the whole board. So maybe you can go a little higher than that on average, but 300 move average for an antagonistic bot sounds about right to me. And you're supposed to catch up 30 points in those 300 moves, which means you need to be catching up a point every 10 moves, or Shin Jinseo needs to be making, 0.2 points of an error on average. If you compare that to this game, in this game, Shin Jinseo, in order to win, needs to make less than 0.1 points error on average. So you need to make Shin Jinseo make twice as many mistakes consistently, and twice as hard mistakes. And the problem with that is that humans don't really struggle that much, especially humans at Shin Jinseo's level. He's not making reading errors, he's making judgment errors. They don't struggle that much with blundering. They only struggle with figuring out, is this a little better? Is that a little better? That's the hard part. So if you wanted to be antagonistic, maybe you could make the judgments a bit harder for Shin Jinseo, but it would be unrealistic to make Shin Jinseo twice as bad at judgment. It's just that requires an extreme level of antagonism, an extreme level of like skill from the AI. The AI would need to get dizzyingly lucky, basically, through immense amount of computing power over and over and over again for Shin Jinseo to keep being forced to mess up that much. Basically, the point is like, if I play and you tell me, hey, make less than 1 point errors every single move, I'm gonna do that most of the time. Maybe sometimes I'm not so good at reading and I'll make some blunders, but for Shin Jinseo, if you tell him to make less than 1 point errors the whole game, that's easy. It's no problem. And he can do a lot better than that. So like, it's hard to grasp, but the race of space against how much you lose, when you increase the like leash on that space, it's an exponential effect on Shin Jinseo's comfort. So going from 1.5 stones to 2.5 stones is not twice as hard. It's like 20 times as hard. It's like, I don't know exactly how much, but in order to win as KataGo, in order for the AI to win. So yeah, Shin Jinseo said in an interview that I think he has not lost a game on 3 stones to AI, which sounds about right. But he loses on 2 stones. Anyway, we have an interesting variation. So this is part of the reason why it's so exciting to see Shin Jinseo versus KataGo on 1.5 stones, is that in these games, Shin Jinseo, in order to win, probably will have to fight. Probably will have to show a lot of power, because the gap is so close that you cannot just back away and still find your way through all the space. So we had the high approach from KataGo in the upper or in the bottom right. I'll say AI tends to play far better with the high approach Josekis in handicap games than humans. Humans do not like playing the high approach in handicap games because black gets such a thick corner, and the corner is all gone. But AI tends to make the outside like a big challenge to black. Much better. So you believe AI is already playing near perfect Go? No, I don't even. Like if you came out with an AI which can give KataGo no Komi tomorrow, which is very, very unrealistic. But let's say you did it somehow. It couldn't give Jinseo like an extra no Komi. It could only give Jinseo an extra two points or maybe something like that. Like the whenever you increase the handicap for strong players, it isn't linear. It doesn't just add on. It's like every single increase in handicap is worth a lot more for the higher level player's skill. Okay, so after the high approach Joseki, Shinjinso approached, and obviously you would like it if white would be passive, but white counter invaded. And then Shinjinso played the lean. This has happened in his games at World Championship level quite often. The goal is that white has to answer to take care of this group somehow. Either white can push and take care of it in a sort of expanded territory way, or black can push and white takes care of it in a smaller territory way. Either way, the territory isn't big enough for white to be happy. And so that's why white is playing the attach here. Attach, and Ane is coming into the corner. And indeed, KataGo does have 20 seconds on his clock every single move. KataGo is only playing within 20 seconds. And Shinjin-So is playing a sort of sideline here with the extend, but it's a sideline which is very good. We're going to see an interesting Joseki here. It's it's maybe possible to say we're going to send 1 billion visits to every single move for KataGo, and then it's going to be way better. But it would have to be way, 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 way better to give Shinjin-So 3 stones. It actually has to be antagonistic. It actually has to be like differently designed. Have I ever had KataGo play itself with max PDA for both players? Never for both, no. I haven't seen KataGo versus KataGo where I did set it up to like play no Komi against itself and give itself the appropriate aggression. And sometimes it can beat itself on no Komi. In the Blitz games that I had it play. So it's certainly not a perfect player. But, you know, I do think it's within 1 stone of perfection. And I mean a full stone, not no Komi. I think it's within 1 full stone of perfection. Anyway, we have an interesting Joseki. So this, yeah, I actually don't know this Joseki very well when you extend. I'm aware that you should connect as white, but afterwards, after this block, white has some liberty pressure, which is a little annoying, a little difficult to handle. And KataGo chose to Atari in the corner, gives up the chance to Atari from the outside, which is pretty hard to ever use anyway, because black's turn would expose a cutting point here and then be able to come back to cover the 2 stones. So just Atari and give that to black means that these stones that black played building the wall can be a little over concentrated with that 1 stone. But on the other hand, white is still potentially going to suffer a shortage of liberty with these 4 stones. So finally, Shinjin-So does choose to block, which I believe is the correct way, meaning that these 4 stones are short of liberties. That means they have 0 outside liberties, right? So all of the liberties that the 4 stones have are what we would call inside to the area. And yeah, natural continuation now for black is to extend. That says the opening looks very good for white. It's definitely not as good for black as last game's opening, which was superb. It was like perfect for black to get to eliminate an entire corner. But this is still a very thick result and a very thick corner and a very thick corner, relatively speaking. This is not that thick, but relatively speaking, it's quite thick. And this is how Shin Jinseo wants to set up for these games. He wants to get thick in every single area and without losing that much value. So far, I don't think any of these, yeah, he has indeed extended. I don't think any of these moves have lost value. I don't think any of these moves are wrong. And so it's not that bad of an opening. It should be an opening which gives Shin Jinseo's good chances to bring it through to the end game. We have white pushing from below, black pushing through. Is yeah, it's guaranteed. I didn't actually see it on the live stream yet, but there's no other move. You can't let white connect and build all the territory on the bottom, and you could break it all and start attacking white instead. It's a bit surprising that he didn't play the 4/4 in the bottom right to get a flying knife, but this is not that bad either. Like to accept the corner territory is pretty satisfying too. White has pushed from behind and done all this stuff on the bottom side. Why did white push on the last turn here? It's because if he didn't, or if she didn't push at I-18, really uncomfortable push. Split shape, right? We don't want to do that most of the time. But if white had not done that, then black turn would be threatening a cut and a capture on the 4 stones due to the shortage of liberty. So after cut and extending here, then I guess I should show this in KataGo, shouldn't I? Let me properly. Oh, it's here and black plays here. Okay, let me show on KataGo here. And let me reopen Fox, sorry. So yeah, this is the game so far. So if white would not have pushed here, let's say white, for example, plays this move. Pretty big move. Back turn here is very annoying for the corner because if white doesn't answer, black can harass the corner. If you come back, then this is not easily a live shape. Although you should be able to live because you have the Atari. Anyway, it's really bad for white, even though you could live because you lose all the corner territory. If you try to capture the stones in the corner, these stones are now dead due to the shortage of liberty. There's no way to save those stones. When you have 4 stones with a Hane connect here, they're just caught. The Hane connect, or the Hane turn, does not help you. And so that's why white chose to push here in the game. The push is designed to alleviate all the cutting points, so now black can't really access any of the cutting points on the inside here, but the good part for black is that it really ruined the shape of this outside 4th line stone from white. So white has a lot of territory, black can be a little over-concentrated, but the shape, the efficiency for black is quite high in this variation. Satisfying. And black, even approaching here, looks like it could maybe set out to cover an area on the left side. Yeah, so far this is all quite normal and expected. Oh, and in the game, they've just played me. They've just played like this. He's playing quickly through all this because it's rather normal. It's the kind of thing which he knows he can handle, and he knows he's like familiar with the positions. Actually, it's similar to things that have happened before in his games. He understands what's happening. But as we enter the middle game, he will not understand what's happening, and he needs more time there. What was really nice about his time management in game 1 was that having a bank of time enabled him to play the cut in the center and to really go into an aggressive fight and trust that he would have enough time to read it. That's what he said in his post-match interview. If he didn't have the bank of time, he wouldn't have been able to start a fight because he would be scared of losing on time, of misreading. And so the bank of time that he built up by playing quickly and then pausing in the actual critical moments to think them through, but continuing to speed along into the late middle game, and then being able to use a lot of time in the late middle game. I think he spent like 2 hours in the late middle game, more than 2 hours from move 150 to 250 or so, and only 1.5 hours up to move 150. I think that's my memory. That seems like the appropriate balance for someone of Jinso's caliber. He's already, a supreme opening expert, but no human is a supreme middle game expert against KataGo. It's not, not likely. Must be tough for Shin Jinseo to suddenly play as if his opponent is the better player when he's normally probably assuming the opposite. It's a funny comment. He kept being patient even when he wanted to fight back. Yeah. He always is bullying his opponents with reading, and suddenly he has to be the one who's patient. It is kind of funny. Hello, can you explain Shin Jinso's dominance to a casual like myself? What are his strongest aspects that separate him from the top players? It's kind of hard to answer. Mostly it's judgment. And part of the reason why his judgment gaps all the other top players is that he's sort of like a specialist in styles, but it's every style and every board position. So one of the things that he mentioned, a lot of top pros when they study with AI, they'll look at something and they'll be like, okay, I played this move. AI says that other move is 1 point better, is half a point better. But I understand what I'm doing when I play this move. So, screw it. Even if KataGo says that one is half a point better, that one would lead me to a type of position which I don't know how to play as well. So I'd rather play this way. Shin Jinseo, when he studies with KataGo, is far more likely to say, okay, I played this move. That move is half a point better. This move lets me be a Moyo expert. That move lets me be a Sabaki expert. I'm both. So I will trust KataGo that the Sabaki expert line is slightly better, objectively speaking, than the Moyo expert line. And he can just shift gears into being an expert in any type of position, and he's better than his opponents at playing almost any type of style. So only like the world foremost expert in playing Sabaki style is as good as playing Shin Jinseo Sabaki style, and same with a tight endgame, and same with broken up positions, and same with ladder breakers, same with code trading, and then so he's also very, very good at the opening, and he's very, very good when behind. Every other player, when they get 10 points behind, you're like, okay, game's probably over when they play a top pro. Top pros are very, very good at minimizing chances, this kind of thing. Shin Jinseo is just so skilled at complicating the game, at being able to play the type of game where you provoke the opponent's weaknesses, provoke the opponent's problems. And frankly, I don't know how that is done. If I did know, I think I'd be a better player. I don't know how to do this complicating thing. I don't know what exactly is the skills he's tapping into, but somehow he just makes it so that the opponent feels pressure all the time that he would gain a little bit, and then feels pressure that they need to fight that. He reverses more games which are objectively dead lost than any of the other top players, and he steamrolls more games than any of the other top players. I don't know. It's just it's more like it's not like he does anything in particular that the other top players can't do. Like, they also do that sometimes, but it's more like he just does it more. I think maybe part of it is that he is more likely to plan deeper than his opponents. And by that, I mean read very deeply and then actually use judgment and strategic skill and all the things that everybody can do on the position that you have on the board in front of you. He can do them on his 20 move deep reads and then make conclusions about that brings him back to 10 moves deep and makes him understand those positions better. And Of course, the other top pros can do that too, but he just does it more consistently because his judgment skill is a bit better. He can play everything. He's more flexible. But Dang Yifei beat him pretty decidedly. So in Dang Yifei's course, which I took, which he described this, he described how these games went. Dang Yifei was basically saying, even though Shin Jinseo is the best player at fighting in the world, I have the best chance against Shin Jinseo if I fight against him. And I can't not fight against him. And so he was trying to make fights all the time, despite believing that Shin Jinseo is better at fighting than him, because fighting is inherently more chaotic. And that's because he thought if he guides it to any other type of game, then he wouldn't be able to outplay Shin Jinseo. Shin Jinseo is enough of an expert in every other type of game, so he took his chances fighting in general. And those fights happened to work for Dang Yifei. When I say happened to work, it's not like that was luck, like he did outskill, but to some extent, like you can only play the position that you have. Sometimes you'll just happen into an easier position than your opponent. I got the feeling that Dang Yifei caught a few of Shin Jinseo's mistakes, and then also naturally guided the game into positions where Shin Jinseo made more errors. Yes, Dang Yifei definitely doesn't want Shin Jinseo to have AI prep. That's also important. Looks like Shin Jinseo is about to play a move. No, never mind. He's thinking for quite a while here because it's a little bit the first moment where it's a little bit middle gamey rather than being an opening Joseki battle. This is now out of Joseki finally. Yeah, Magnus wins endgames, right? And he also wins other types of positions sometimes, but the styles are certainly more like opening choices than styles, really. Like if you become a Benoni expert, then that's the style of play that you have. You're probably not an endgame grinder. And basically in Go, the middle game is so much longer that you have more skill expression and more style expression than in chess. So there are many different ways for Shin Jinseo to play on the left side here. The broadcast showing what happens when you attach. Basically attach, extend, diagonal, and knight's move are the common ways that you can continue. The extend here allows white to block. In general, you don't like to see white block because the corner was supposed to be wide open and you were supposed to be able to use the resources that white hadn't really taken care of that to force white to become over-concentrated and to extract more value. So it's a little bit dissatisfying to just push and then let white block. That's why Shin Jinseo thought for quite a while before exchanging this. The good news is that you expose the cut for white in the center. That is pretty satisfying. But it's a little hard to figure out how exactly to use that cut. I don't really want to go on a cutting adventure right away. That seems like a bad idea against AI. Maybe I'll play on the top side if it's me. Maybe I'll push, but the problem with push is that even though this looks like a big area on the left side, it's actually too close and not enough territory. It's not the kind of thing which white is going to be upset about giving you. White would happily accept push and just grow the top side more while you take the left side, and it seems like the top side is just bigger, right? Seems like the broadcast of Buduk TV is saying the reason why Shin Jinseo didn't do, for example, diagonal, which would aim more at the weakness in the corner, right? So if you played diagonal, then it would be harder for white to block and get a chance to finish the corner. Then the problem is actually that white would be able to play to the top side more quickly if you played the diagonal, because it's less forcing. Like the good part about the push here is that it was very, very forcing. White didn't need to block, mostly because it made white a good shape. So that means that white has the time to go and do other things. Stuff like play on the top side here. Also, sometimes white can cut black and use the aji in this shape. Yeah, so there's certainly chances in the game here for white to be cutting in the future and using that as a way to short the black liberties of these two stones, maybe getting a chance to connect on the outside if you're aiming at the cut particularly hard, maybe getting some benefits to the top or the center. That cut often happens in positions like this where white is not at all interested in playing from the middle of black's territory for obvious reasons. Those stones would likely die. So in situations where you really don't care about this area at all, you're more likely to see the cut. I still don't think you're going to see the cut anytime soon because KataGo isn't the type to just give up on getting a chance to go in. But it could happen. Could happen soon. Yeah, if Shin wins this game, it will be very, very impressive. For sure. Um, yeah, let's take a look actually. I am pretty curious what would happen if so like if I were playing this last moment, I would not have played the push because I'm afraid of white block. So I would have played this one, or this one. These would be my choices. Honestly, this knight's move to me looks very good because white doesn't have this ladder. And in fact, we're very thick over here, so this black would be able to run out and be very satisfied with. So to me, this knight's move is a clear candidate move. Anytime white cuts, I can always play on the outside like this. But I guess maybe the way that white would respond is just by like falling back, covering the territory, and you have to sort of connect if you want to fix it. And then white could play on the top side to build all this, make this unapproachable. Maybe Jinseo didn't really like the dynamics here. Because the extra movement you get to the center compared to his variation isn't so good. And we can't actually push into the upper left that much better. Maybe this is the problem. And it also, yeah, if this one, sort of a similar thing could happen. I'm not really sure about about this. In this case, I feel like white would want to block. Perhaps I'm crazy. I don't know whether white would go fully in to connect here to just keep the cut as the primary resource. Doesn't seem like it would be reasonable. I'm curious here. Yeah, it is the connect on the left side. And so from black's perspective, it was lighting up the top side, right? Because even though there is a big threat, this cut could come, and then there's a nice squeeze coming. This is the minimum you get from the squeeze. You'll actually try to get more. Yeah, understandable that black would think that white is efficient here. White gets the next move. It's quite nice. And if you tried to stop that efficient thing from happening, you could try to stop it like this. It could be better, but it allows white to come this way quickly. Maybe white would hane first, but building the top side is definitely important here. So it seems like the idea of the push is that we really, really want to play on the top side somehow. And now the reason why he's thinking is probably because it's not easy to figure out how. Like what exactly to do and how we want to interact in the upper left. If you don't touch the upper left, it's very easy for it to just get out of control. For example, if you play here, very natural looking move, but I could easily approach you like this, and then say, you can't access my upper left corner, Aji, and I've just gained. I just have a bigger territory now. And that would be a pretty difficult thing to play against. When you're in this early position, are you thinking more about concrete corner considerations or strategic long-term plans? Mostly you're just trying to make sure that you are not losing control of the game. That you're like, um, well, when I play against humans my level, I try to gain control of the game. I try to do things which are strategically challenging for my opponent. When I play against I try to do things that eliminate ways for my opponent to be strategically challenging. And so I think that's what Jinseo will be focusing more on. The strategic challenge in this case is that the territory is very big. You can make tactical solutions to that. For example, you could play probing moves to ask for a chance to live in the corner later. And if you got, for example, something that could potentially live in the corner, then you could be satisfied and play away and like have saved the group, have handled things. This would be another example where you can just live in the corner. This makes a living shape. And this is like a solution to White's challenge of like how we're handling the upper left being way too big. But this solution is very risky. I bet if we turn on AI, it'll say to try to to keep it dead. Yeah, so this is a way that you could play, but you can see AI thinks this is not as good as playing the attach on the outside, which is the slightly better method of handling. How are we supposed to know that? Well, depending on the outside, sometimes this one will be better, and sometimes this one will be better. And you have to get it right in terms of judgment every single time consistently that this is the better way, and that's so difficult. That's what AI is going to beat us on. And so that's what we're trying to minimize. That's the reason why Shin Jinseo is thinking, or was thinking at least, for a while here. Is he still thinking here? Seems like yes. It's hard to figure out how should I play on the top side so that my opponent can't make some challenge. How do I have a full plan, tactical plan? This is what I'm going to do, and they're going to do that. I'm going to do that. And in such a way that the opponent can't make you have a hard time figuring out what exactly to do. Thanks for the live commentaries. You're welcome. Yeah, I like doing some live commentaries. It's fun. In game 2, Shin Jinseo could play out the flying knife so he could finish a quarter of the board without losing any points. Yeah, it's definitely going to be harder in this game. But even though it's harder, that doesn't mean he can't do it. he definitely could still pass the tests. But this is already a difficult moment. It's possible that you would want to attach here directly, actually. This is a common idea. It was also a common idea in the previous thing, but he attacks. Wait, really? Wait. Yeah. Load up my thing. Aha! So he did indeed play that move on the top side, as expected. This one. Interesting. So we have... we have it. We have this thing. Everything as expected. Also, in the Fox chat, we have some random Taiwanese player. Oh, excuse me. That wasn't my intention. Some random Taiwanese player saying Light Vector is the best. Light Vector, the creator of KataGo. I do like that this event is shining a little light on how awesome the computer Go community is, how much they have achieved and are going to continue to achieve. Is there any way for Shin to remind KataGo that it lost game 2? You mean like a taunt? What do you predict is going to happen? I don't know if there's a way to taunt. Maybe he can play a 1-1 sometime. What do I predict is going to happen from this game? From this setup here. So one of the awkward things about this game setup so far is that White has a weak group in the bottom right, which you wouldn't think is awkward. You'd think that's black asset, but the problem is that to use that kind of asset, you usually need to fight. You want to fight your opponent's weak groups. And in this game, it's a little tricky to fight the opponent's weak groups because the opponent is going to live all their weak groups in the most beneficial way and scam you. So usually what you want to do in these cases when the opponent is really, really good at defending their groups is make it so that they don't actually have to defend. Like, he won't want to put pressure that he's going to kill that group or even be that close to it. But in order to do so, you sort of need to gain the value elsewhere. I would say this game... Okay, the current setup, I think this setup looks pretty bad for black. I don't think black is favored in this one. He needs to be able to control the topside fighting and link it up to this weak group in some efficient way, effective way. If he can prevent white from getting much more territory at all, and sort of, if he can grind out KataGo here and like really press hard on the little edges, if he plays very, very accurately, right? Like if he finds all the endgame to Suji, this is the type of game which Shin Jinseo should only be able to win by a half a point or a point and a half max. That's what I would say. Either he's gonna lose this one, in which case it would be a loss sometime around 70 to 100 moves from now, or he's gonna win this one by like half a point. That's my suggestion. That's my prediction. You're curious why I didn't suggest playing in the middle so you have a 2-space base on either side. So that's a good question, actually. Come back to this KataGo. So this is the moment where Shin Jinseo is figuring out where to play. And he could have played here, and this is what a lot of people would have done. So you get a 2-space base to either side. So it seems like, oh, a 2-space base, that's good, right? But the problem is white also is getting a 2-space base, and white's 2-space base matters more. And our preparation, like the fact that we approach this upper left corner, it doesn't do very much because white just solidified it by playing at c14. So the white stone is like more efficient than the black stone here. In contrast, from this direction, we minimized white's more valuable direction of approaching us and made it so that white's less valuable direction of approaching us was in better shape, was in better control. So it was sort of a debate between the two of like which way you want to allow white to play. You can see in this case, white would prefer this or even approach on the outside. But here white cannot play the 1-space jump because it's just too small. It's not as efficient as a 2-space jump would have been. So it would have been possible to play like this, but I think Shin Jinseo probably thought these types of variations, especially if you can get surrounded here, looks uncomfortable for black, not because black is going to die, but because white is more efficient. The white stones seem to be more efficient in this line. It's hard for black to be playing moves which have clear value to black. So this way set him up better for success. And yeah, this jump that he played sets him up well for success as well. White leaned on the left side. By not cutting, they made it so that the next push would be more powerful. So like earlier we showed some cutting variation, right? In this case, white gets the connect here, but white thought, I don't need the connect because I already played on the top side. So by just pushing without exchanging a cut, it meant that the threat that white has of like pressing down on black is far stronger because I didn't thicken the black shape yet. And so that's why Shin Jinseo just answered like this again. The game. Oh, we've gone a little further. Okay, let's go back. Box, the live game. So white played the approach here, and black played Hane, enter Hane, and ooh, Shin Jinseo has gone for the outside here. Okay, this is going to change the game, and obviously my prediction. I like this a lot. I think this is a very wise strategic choice from Shin Jinseo. This is setting up a potential moyo in the upper right and giving white the corner. The reason why this is good is that the white group in the bottom right is a weak group. That means white will have a very hard time adventuring into the upper right, because that could become a double attack with the bottom right group. So this is exactly how Shin Jinseo is trying to use his opponent's weaknesses in these games. Instead of targeting them, he uses them passively by expanding the areas that they cannot approach. So this weak group is a little far away to really get into the upper right, but if white goes further, then black could split and start attacking it. So I like this move from Shin Jinseo. I think this is a good strategic decision, and this is going to change the setup. But still, my prediction, I'm still thinking this is a half-point win for Shin Jinseo at most. How are these matches controlled on time? Is AI compute actually comparable to human thinking time? There was a little bit of controversy about that after game 2. Oh, this is move 50. I need to bet. Sorry. I think white is more than 70% to win this game. Sorry to say. So the Fox, this is move 50. In Fox, you can bet after every 50 moves. So they're pausing it on move 50 so that we can get our bets in. Currently, the betting odds are 30% Shin Jinseo wins, 70% KataGo wins. I just bet my Fox coins on white. Fox coins have no meaning, by the way, but it's just something fun you can do. I think white is more than 70% to win right now. This is not nearly as good of an opening as game 1 was. I am looking, though, at this stream. They have KataGo up there, and it says black by 17.7 points. So he has lost almost no points in objective value from the beginning of the game. I think he's played everything pretty much perfect, but perfect in an objective sense doesn't mean perfect in making you win more, necessarily. Yeah, KataGo is getting 20 seconds per move, and Shin Jinseo has 5 hours main time, so the idea is to simulate the conditions that Shin Jinseo would be playing in real World Championship games, where most of those games you're going to get about the same amount of time total. But yeah, AI it doesn't really have that much of an issue. It shouldn't have that much of an issue getting enough playouts, getting enough reading. It's the difference between an AI which is thinking for 1,000 playouts versus an AI which is thinking for 1,000,000 playouts is just that the AI that thinks for 1,000,000 playouts is a little bit luckier. You can't really say it blunders less. It just guides the positions into like more planned long-term Tesujis. We now know that pondering has been off. I don't know. There's okay, so the commentator said pondering is off in the Korean stream. That's interesting. Okay, pondering off is good to know about. I don't think they moved to 40 seconds. I believe that they have 20 seconds. That's what they're showing on the stream, at least. But they're not showing how to go's time counting down. I guess I can count. Oh, no, they are showing it. Yeah, KataGo is playing every single move in 16 seconds, and it has 20 seconds max to make a move. You bet all your Fox coins on Shin? Good luck. Good luck. I am rooting for Shin Jinseo. Yeah, it's still a good setup for Shin Jinseo. This is not a game which is immediately in trouble for any reason. So that's good. But you will have to fight in the top side, on the right side, maybe a little bit on the bottom, and a little bit in the upper left, and maybe a little bit in the upper right, depending on which Jiseki he chooses here. Sometimes it will continue a little bit of Tetsuji. The Lee Sedol AlphaGo match is what got you into Go, but you didn't watch it live. Yes, we get another AI versus human match now. It's fun. I didn't watch that one live either. I was not even playing Go yet. It was played. I feel like with this type of game, it will get very lopsided for one player. Will it? I think Shin Jinseo will be calm. Maybe not. If it does get lopsided for one player, it's not going to be lopsided against KataGo, I'll tell you that. Okay, so Shin Jinseo is doing the Joseki, which I talked about, which involves further fighting, actually. And so, of course, if he's going to make that kind of choice, then he needs to think for a long time, and that's what he did. So this Joseki is a fun one, actually. And it doesn't have that much further fighting, but this one leaves a cutting point behind that white can exploit at the end. I personally have never managed to play this that well, but yeah, we'll see. Thank you. You're still 24Q after 6 years. I'm sure that I've put in more more time. I mean, I've been playing for only 6 years, but in terms of like hours played, I think I'm at least rivaling the players who have played for decades and decades. In terms of hours studied and played and talked about Go, it's a lot for me. It was a fun game, guys. Very fun. So yeah, this net is a nice one. If you guys don't know about this Joseki, you can learn from Shin Jinseo here. It's a good Joseki. It was first played against me by Yunkyo, actually. She sprung it on me. I was like, what the heck is going on? And I think I actually blocked the wrong side or something. I forget exactly what happened. I made some mistake in the Joseki immediately and then was behind in the game against Yunkyo. She was like, this is a basic Joseki. And I was like, what? Never heard about this. Yeah, white pushes through here. Oh yeah, so she was black, I was white, and I think I pushed the wrong side. I did not push through here. This is the correct push from white. Black should block, then white is short of liberties, black can Atari, and then black can connect, and black leaves a cutting point behind, which is usable for white, but not easily usable. And so the benefit for black here, the reason why Shin Jinseo has done this is that he spent Gote in order to make a vast influence to the right side as well as the top side. A very powerful influence. And so the judgment that Shin Jinseo had is that even though I leave a cutting point behind, I should be able to play around it by playing on the right side and building the right side territory. So from the get-go here, it looked like in this position that Shin Jinseo could just accept, right? But then he wouldn't have had the same kind of power to build the right side. Often when you extend up, the opponent can Hane connect to reduce you, and you get like less big of an area. So if you want to build aggressively, then you can go for this netting variation and really make sure that black is getting a strong squeeze and a strong position to the right side. The problem is we paid a little bit of extra territory to white. And so the end result here will also involve a little bit of endgame extra value to white. Locally speaking, this Joseki is considered a little inefficient for black, I believe, but only if white can use the resources. Often, as black, if you play this, then your opponents as white will not be going after the cut that's going to result once Fox catches up to the real game here. There's going to be a cutting point here. And if you can just sort of casually cover that cutting point, then it's very effective. I don't know why Shin Jinseo. Actually, Shin Jinseo has paused after this white push, but isn't block mandatory? I think block is mandatory. How old were you when you started playing, if you don't mind me asking? Want to know if I'm too old yet? I think I was 17 when I started playing. What do you think about that? Is that true? Yes, I was 17 when I started playing. Oh, he's away from the board right now? Aha. He did mention in game, in one of these post-game interviews that unlike the World Championship games, where often he'll play something confusing and his opponent will be scared, and then he knows he has time to go to the bathroom and get a drink of water and like compose himself because his opponent is going to be spending like 10 minutes thinking, right? But against KataGo, he doesn't get any of those moments. So it seems like in game 3, he's making a point of it to give himself that moment purposefully. He's not like waiting for KataGo to have a tough decision. He just went and took a break mid Joseki, like during a absolutely forced sequence. Just take that quick break, get a refresher. Is it true that Shin drank 5.5 liters last game? There were certainly a lot of water bottles next to him. I don't know exactly how much, but yeah, I'll also say it's definitely not impossible to get quite good at the game from starting at an old age. It does require more effort, but uh, totally possible to become a one dan when you start in like your 60s. If you are dedicated and you like Sumego and you're interested in really trying to become a better player, if you're interested in learning about how Go really works, plenty of people who start when they're 60 years old or so and can become a dan level player. Yes, you can also be stuck for a while, and it's hard to have the motivation sometimes to continue to try to improve when you get stuck. White plays this jump here. Okay. This jump is so it's obviously trying to reduce the right side, which black has just attempted to grow with his upper right Joseki choice. What do you guys do if you were black here? This is the type of position which is actually hard to find choices. Like Wei has just passed the turn to us, but we have to figure out what to do. And doing anything is kind of tricky. You can easily do something which is too small, too slow. Excuse me, it's very possible black is supposed to go into the upper left now and invade this this area, or do something about that, which would be difficult for Shin Jinseo to actually execute on. Could try to happen, but very difficult. I also think if you never find people to teach you how to review, you're kind of cooked. Yes, reviewing is very important. There's lots of advice on how to play and not a lot on how to review. I do have a YouTube video on how to review, which I think is pretty good. But yeah, that YouTube video, I do start off by reviewing my 9-dan game. It might be better to, look at the concepts and then actually think about the review of the like 8Q game I did as a sample afterwards. Wouldn't have even realized this is a handicap game from this position. Yeah, that's the thing about small handicaps is you do actually like it sort of dissipates. At the beginning of the game it looks really imposing, but then as the game continues into the middle game it dissipates, and you do have to keep the real value that you had and believe in the further the increase in the amount of territory, increased amount of power. So in this game, black does have plenty of points, left side, bottom right, top side, and he does have some power. The white group here is weak. This is still somewhat invadable, and the white territories that Wei has set out to make are not as big as the black territories as of yet. So he does have still the advantage in territory and power, but they're both smaller advantages. This is the most basic and obvious move. This is, I want to handle the upper left, and I want to do it in a way which pressures you to play over-concentrated. Please answer me in a way which is small. That's what this one says. I like it. I think this is a good move. This is a good way to not have to actually go in and fight KataGo. But the problem is once KataGo does answer, we have to figure out what to do again next move. It won't be very easy necessarily. Ooh, KataGo attaches to try to solve the issue in Sente. And to overconcentrate black. I didn't actually think about this attach, but I definitely should have. It's a good move from white, of course. You would N10 as black, you would lean here. I think it's a little early to do this kind of a lean, because the right side is still potentially valuable. So when you lean, you're sort of giving the right side control in order to get center control. But the opponent will definitely like accept, reduce the right side a bit, and then jump here, and then say the center isn't that big anyway, and they're building the left. So I think this is definitely the first thing to prioritize. Makes sense. But the attach here, Jinseo will have to do a little bit of fighting, figure out how exactly to hold this together. Go to, I gotta go, figure out what happened. I did this here. Oh no, like that here and that. Okay, KataGo is caught up. So obvious way is to Hane back, right? And then white will want to fall back like this. Ideally, you can say, oh, that was Gote. Now I'm going to go over here. And if you cut, I'll be fine. And you will be fine. But what's unfortunate is that you can't Atari and then extend, because white can cover those two stones. This is what white was setting up, basically. So if you do want to be fine here, you have to extend back and allow white to break through, reduce a lot of your space. You can see white leaving a lot of cutting points, breaking the black shape. It's pretty unsatisfying. So that's why this Hane is not an instant must-play move for black. It's awkward at the end that you haven't really fixed the cutting point. Here. Your phone is telling you about attach in the upper left, or yeah, there can be a cut on the right side as well. There's lots of things that are possible. One says Hane on the right now. It's entirely possible to do this and accept that white will be sort of walking towards you. The lack of white Mueo compared to game 1 is encouraging. Yeah, this upper left thing, white is still looking to make some Mueo. We shouldn't rule it out yet that it could be. But it's less imposing that white will be getting some power in the center, because Shin Jinseo invested a lot to getting power in the center himself. The problem is that kind of power can dissipate if you don't fight, and then you just lose value. So the middle game will be very hard for Shin Jinseo to keep his advantage. A little bit beyond the normal. It already is very hard, obviously, all the time. Usually in this position, you just take points and ask white what they want, and your opponent can choose wrong. It's a common good idea, but KataGo will not choose wrong. Yeah, that's the problem. You can't give KataGo the same kind of pressure. Most opponents, one of the best ways to give pressure in Go is to just say, okay, I did this, and now we have a Go position. Do you know how to play Go? do you know how to play this random Go position well? And if you aren't really putting strict pressure on the opponent, you just tell them, figure out how to play Go correctly. Most of them will not be able to play Go correctly, even at my level. Like, it's just so hard. Even at professional level, this is the most common way that they give pressure to their opponents. This is the position now. What do you want to do? And it's very hard to pick the right thing all the time. Obviously, when you do this to KataGo, you can give KataGo as difficult a position to figure out what to do as you want, and KataGo will still figure out what to do. So it's a little, like isolating sometimes when you play the game against KataGo, that you feel like you're the only one playing. Normally, when you play Go, the other player is tested too. Even if they're a much better player than you, they're still tested. They still don't know exactly what to do if you just give them a Go position. But when it's KataGo, it feels like it always knows, and you're the only person who's actually playing. You'd really like to make work attaching on the left of the left stone. Ah, so what you were describing is that black could play the attach over here. This is a common idea. I should show it in KataGo. So this idea is that we would push white down to the second line all the way. If you get all of these exchanges, usually it's going to be good for black because white has to accept being way too small, right? So black gets a lot of influence on the outside. Black doesn't have to commit to the topside territory, and white is very small. The problem often is that white will fight harder than that. So there are a few ways for white to do that. Yeah, Hana here is the way that KataGo suggests. So it's overplay. You can play here. If white would fall back, then maybe the plan is okay, but there can be a fight back here as well. If we get the whole thing, it would be good, but it's the kind of thing which doesn't tend to work. So in the game, we have Shin Jinseo choosing a variation. Oh, I didn't actually switch to my scene to show you guys this. Sorry. I meant to show you this. This is white being compressed down, like I said. And I turned on my KataGo and it said to Hane back here. Or if KataGo would answer like this, then when you push here, then it would also resist at this moment, allowing you to cut in order to presumably cut, also connect. So the attach from the outside, the concept is good to like press weight down. It's obviously much better to do that than to play like this, and that way get a wider space. But it's a bit of an overplay right now. You can't do that. Okay, let's go back to the real game. Sorry about that. And see so the real game, Shin Jinseo resisted. So this is because the Hane doesn't really work to keep the territory. So he's trying to organize a different way to try to get the territory on the top side. So he pushes through, eats the one stone on the top side. Now the territory is actually secured. The problem is that the outside is not so secured. White also had a cut, so white fixes like this, and then black has to fix. In the end, black spends gote. And so originally, when you think about it, right, black spent a move here and then managed to get an advance in the territory on the top side, but white got all the thickness on the left side. And white has covered that upper left corner. So Shin Jinseo has basically played a variation which gives up on ever being able to invade the upper left corner, which I think he's okay with. I think this is the sort of the concession that he was planning to make the whole time. You're going to get the upper left corner, it's okay. And the topside territory condition that he actually got it in, it doesn't look that bad. Like he did improve his quantity of territory there a lot. It was important for white, by the way, to descend here at the end. We can go back and look at this whole sequence in KataGo, so I can play that like this, and here, here. So if white wouldn't have played here, for example, white could have spent a move, I don't know where, let's say it's over here. The black Hane connect is really, really big here because it's also threatening to cut on this side where there's some problems. It's not going to be that easy for white to take care now. There's some problems with this group getting sort of liberties. I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but it doesn't look easy for white. I guess maybe it would be playable, but certainly these cuts look very scary, and the cuts left behind look very scary. Probably this Hane connect would have been Sente. Let's see. AI thinks it would have been forcing that white needs to answer somewhere. And so that would have been really annoying. That's why white descends instead. If the Hane connect would have been Sente for black, then this is like reverse Sente, a bajillion points. Since it's not only black like getting more points, reducing the white points, but also white is now expected to get the monkey jump. Black shouldn't be answering, like this is something which is not big enough. Black should be playing elsewhere. But the future of this shape is to monkey jump forced black back to only this much. If you compare to when black was blissfully getting the Hane Connect in Sente, it's a massive, massive change in territory, right? So that's why white probably had to play the Descent here. I bet this is the only great move. Push here was also okay. But yeah, Descent certainly massive. Okay, and we actually got spoiled when I moused over it. That AI thinks that black should push here. That's again going to be aiming at the weaknesses on the top side. So if white would play away, you would be threatening to play the peep and the push here, forcing white to fall all the way back. Maybe you could even aim at the other cut and reduce the white upper left corner. Yeah, when white descended here, then the left side territory is way further in white's territory, in white's favor, and like the upper left corner is uninvadable, but it is still reducible. So Shin Jinseo may choose to prioritize that reduction. It's also, you know, possible to do other things, but certainly within expectation that Shin Jinseo could find that push that was recommended. But Shin Jinseo instead chooses to play the center. These are the center leaning moves that make sense now that we press down on the upper left, so we know that white can't grow the upper left in order to reduce our center anymore. So now building the center is making a lot more sense as well. Would be pretty good. So white just pushed once, which is accepting that the right side lost a lot of value for Shin Jinseo there, and then turned. So this is why Shin Jinseo was trying to build on the outside when he saw that KataGo had a weak group. This kind of turn is exactly what Shin Jinseo has been trying to exploit this weak group for. So he's going to Hana, he's going to continue to put pressure. Hey, if you don't respond with this weak group, then I will make a real attack against you and your position will get objectively worse. But if you do respond, then the position gets smaller. The board gets smaller. I don't mean that like the territories are getting smaller. I mean that the active space that we're going to continue fighting and where you have a chance to continue to gain against me is reduced. That's why he's playing from the center and pressing like this. This is looking a bit better, I think, than it was looking 30 moves ago. I feel like he's progressively making the game a lot easier to control, but he might be losing value. I don't know about that. I'm checking. Looks like I just peeked at the the Korean stream. Looks like he might not be losing that much value so far. If he's not losing much value and he is reducing all the space on the board this effectively, it's a really, really good start to the early middle game for Shin Jinseo. Yeah, he's roughly speaking, compared to game 2, about got the same advantage, but he didn't play a super long Joseki to skip half the game. He's been actually like playing the whole game and playing just about as well as when he knew the Joseki in game 2. I agree that this game is impressive so far compared to game 2, even better. MPL? I don't know what MPL stands for. So the easy move for Shin Jinseo to play is to continue extending. Then you're just being pushed from behind in a pushing battle, and it feels like you're going in a good direction as well. The center looks like it's an appropriately large size that you shouldn't be upset about it being too small. So that's what he does. Mean point loss. Mean point loss. Mean point loss 0.05 is very low. And white continued pushing from behind to make sure that the weak group is stable, and black just simply accepted happily. So currently, the game state is that black is going to still need to fight on the bottom right, on the right side, in the center, and a little on the left, although this should be largely speaking endgame. The little bit, yeah. This upper left center area is the most dangerous for black. This push from white was a good move. It prevented black from using the cutting points that were remaining. And it leaves some pressure on the black cutting points, in fact. This tiger's mouth not being the thickest thing you've ever seen. He's gained about 5 points from the beginning of the game compared to expectation from the low playout KataGo. If this were a properly calibrated low playout KataGo playing against KataGo, then Shin Jinseo is playing better than low playout KataGo so far, apparently. That makes sense. I think that so far the game is set up very well, actually. It looked scary, but his decision in the upper left, the decision here to go into this line, so far it's paying off very, very nicely. Also, the execution here of the lean to get an access to the upper left, and then the cut sequence here. This is a relatively expectable sequence. If white had played a connect, then the cut here would have been far too scary for white. And so that's why white backed off immediately, giving black a little more territory. It's a really good setup. You think Shin Jinseo might be tilting, realizing it's his sente? Was it really his full-on sente? I don't know if it was his full-on sente. Let me go check on KataGo here. In the game, we have this position. If Shin Jinseo could get this in sente, it would have been nice. But yeah, even though this move is big, KataGo, my KataGo says, maybe we can allow the next move. If it was just this one, then there could be some trading that's allowable. If you clamp, probably the Atari is not possible, but this becomes a complicated ko. Not the easiest punish ever. Even though this one does expose a lot more cutting points and makes the game a lot more challenging for white, I think Shin Jinseo is probably perfectly happy with his chosen variation to play like this and allow white to cover it, because this actually gives Shin Jinseo the momentum to play the next move in the center, which can be quite decisive in positions like this, at least when it's human versus human. You really, really, really want to be the player who decides the standing of the battlefield, like the scene of the crime. If you decide the scene of the crime, then you don't actually have to play that well within it, right? You can have it set up so that even if you mess up, you'll still be doing okay. So I think Shin Jinseo is pausing here to try to figure out how exactly to progress effectively. This is maybe the most difficult moment of the game so far for Shin Jinseo. Of course, we would like to control the center, but you get a move to control the center, but it's not easy to cover sort of two openings from this part and from this part. Hard to organize something here for sure. I would struggle. If you jump like two outside, it's easy for the opponent to come in underneath, and then even though you get outside benefit over here, it wouldn't do anything, right? So you want to set yourself up so that you have easy moves to play in the future, and you'll still know what to do in the future. He does have excess backup over here, so he kind of wants to wait to run this way, but he doesn't want to do it by spending two moves over here. Pretty awkward. You want H9, jumping over here as a hedging move to try to build this area. But I think that white always could push and sort of enter this area casually. I wouldn't want white to be able to push and play like this. I don't know whether that's really the best way, of course. About L8. The turn here, absolutely a pleasant way to start, because this is very powerful on the weak group on the right side. You feel like you're getting a lot of value, but I've always concerns about what happens when KataGo doesn't like doesn't believe in my bluff that I can put pressure. If KataGo just says that group's alive, well, it kind of is because it's KataGo, right? So, so then I have to worry about like, well, what am I getting? Let's say the group's alive. Am I going to build this territory to be big? It doesn't seem that big, right? So I'd be nervous. It seems like it's a move which is not of low value right now. Totally fine move right now, but the type of move which can leave you outplayed in the future. It sort of heaps expectations upon your future moves in a way which may may not be very effective for playing against KataGo. Maybe some move that sets up the cut and the left side. I think it's too aggressive. I don't think we should be going after that cut on this board. We don't really have the right. Weight is too thick over there. Spent too many defensive moves. R8 big. This is a territory move, but if you think about it, in terms of how much territory you actually get by playing here, the corner is going to be, roughly speaking, about 4 to 6 points bigger. And when white would have played here, we're eliminating white's 5 points or so. It's only like a 10-point move, a 10-point gote. Now, the main benefit of this move is that it sets up attack on white, right? Like the white life and death isn't settled. And so this does affect that. But I feel that white could certainly play more value taking care of this group through the center area, through this center area, through even harassing this. I don't think this is the correct thing to prioritize anytime soon. It's not the correct direction to attack this group from, probably. What happened to row I? Row I is not supposed to be on any Go bonds because it gets confusing with L, but Fox is behind the times. They don't really... Yeah. Q7 seems interesting if it puts on enough pressure. You want to pick to touch white, to force white to answer and to gain more for the territory, but it obviously makes white thicker. This is it's generally not a good idea to make it so that the opponent's good move is obvious, is clear. Because that means that they're not going to make a mistake, and maybe you made a mistake. So it would be good to do this if we really wanted the Q7 move, but it's actually not our goal, really. So I'd rather play here and then just play Q7 in the future if I want it, right? And in the meantime, I can hold more options. I don't really think it's a good asking move right now. Sometimes you do want to play these moves against two spaces where you challenge them to come back and defend their two space or get cut. But usually that's in the situation where you really want the movement through the center. E9 seems big. This is a big move. It allows the growth of the bottom side center, which gives you something to do when white comes in to reduce the top side center as well. The problem is that the area that we're building directly with this move is too small. It's over-concentrated. And it's bigger to build the topside center. We just need a good move to do so. I'm thinking like here is the best. This is what I would choose if I was playing black. Can we just extend up at h14? Yeah, this is fine. Or this is fine. This is possible. But probably we should just go faster. I don't see a reason not to. If you did this though, I think white will come in something aggressive eventually. Maybe not right away, but at least eventually. And it's hard to answer, right? Because our stone is already on the outside. It's also hard to counterattack because this counterattacking stone is not in a very valuable spot. So something like this would be hard to figure out how to handle after you play a jumping move or a covering move that isn't as fast. This is why I want a really fast move, is so that I can cover nicely or counterattack better. Oh, it seems like Shin Jinseo has played a move. Let me go back. So we had Shin Jinseo choosing two space jump. So he picked this spot, one to the left of mine, basically saying, Telegraph, you're too cautious. Play a little courage. Play a little courageously. And white pushed here, which is sort of fixing the black area. It's quite surprising that white would allow black to keep it, or seem to allow black to keep it. This is looking better and better and better. I agree with the comment. Now I feel Shin can win again. He's actually playing very, very cleanly so far. It looks like the I mean the winning chances should definitely be going up here. I'm curious, so I've just translated the Fox commentary. To brag a little, I honestly can't think of a way to lose this game. Seriously, I'd be really confident if I were playing a 5-hour game like this. There's nothing in this game that requires calculation, says the Fox commentator. So, yeah, it looks really good for Shin Jinseo, and you can see that in the betting odds as well. After 50 moves, I mean, I bet on KataGo and it was 70%, and now the betting odds are 76% to Shin Jinseo. Obviously, all the Fox bettors can read the Chinese, or at least most of them. But this does look really, really, really good as a setup. He still has 15.2 points apparently, and it's very hard to make any complications. The prediction market, as you know, everybody cares about their Fox coins to the maximal extent, and there's a ton of inside information. All the Fox coin bettors have future knowledge, so therefore the prediction market must be exactly correct. What does he get if he wins? He wins $32,000 flat for the game win, plus a 6-figure car. I don't know what exact model the car is. Does anyone know what exact model the car is? A really expensive sports car of some kind, or maybe an EV. I don't know. And so that's the main prize, I think, for winning this one. Looks like he's away from the board again. Yeah, this push from behind, normally we wouldn't see Shin Jinseo thinking for so long. It's the kind of move where it's pretty easy to just jump or extend and be happy. Particularly the jump. If it were me, if I were playing, I will jump, and I'm so happy because this one was a little bit outside to me. So you played the jump and you cover the entrance to the area. Black just has more points. I mean, this center, he's just covered it. No Fox coins if he wins? That's a good point. I think they should give him like a billion Fox coins if he wins. Actually, I wonder how many Fox coins he has. Did I check this? Is it? Let me see. I think I have a friend. N Paradigm. He has 11.6 billion Fox coins already. All right, whatever. He's rich. The jump Aji smells bad. I agree. There's a little bit of a problem there. But yeah, we're up 15 points. And there's no weak groups. Like this white group that was a weak group, he's actually gotten the value out of it into the Moyo on the top side. Clean, easy, no problem whatsoever with the execution. He's already the richest Fox coin, the best Fox account. Maybe what we really should have done is taken away the Fox coins when he lost game 1. How dare he? He's back at the board, figuring out what to do. Got this push from behind from KataGo. I will say this, the play from KataGo so far this game, this does not look that much like KataGo has a very high play-out doubling advantage. It looks like this might be stock KataGo, because it's playing a little too gently on Jinseo, the last few moves at least. Of course, there haven't been any mistakes from KataGo, but you don't want to do stuff like pushing here, pushing from behind here, in the game where you actually want the opponent to fight you. You'd rather have not covered this so that black has to push and black has to clamp and black has to find these Aji. Those are much harder, right? Through game 1 to rig the Fox coin betting. Is is this the scam? You think Jinseo told a informant and had somebody else take all the Fox coins away? Yeah, it is almost superhuman to be only down 3 points from 95 moves, or at least 91 moves, of, for the most part, like some real fighting. I mean, there was Joseki in the upper right, which he knows can only lose a little bit, and Joseki in the bottom left, which he knows is actually optimal in that particular circumstance. I'm pretty sure that Joseki in combination with the Joseki in the bottom right is studied and known. So I think he knew about that entirely from like memory, but he just chose to extend, by the way, not take my jump for the bad Aji, but to extend. And white is just thickening this black. I mean, black is so happy to just accept and say, hey, do your worst. I'm okay. White is setting up something with like maybe a tiny bit of Aji in the inside here. There could be a potential golden rooster situation if stuff goes really mad, but it just isn't realistic that this kind of stuff can happen. I mean, white is mostly just Haned so that the upper left area will be bigger, and hoping to press on every single boundary throughout the game. But this boundary in the center just finished way too cleanly for Shin Jinseo. Way too comfortable. We might see more 3-space approaches in pro games. You think somebody's gonna copy KataGo with the 3-space I approach to the 4-4? I could totally see it happening in a couple pro games. That would be fun, actually. Jinseo didn't even really answer it that well. Could be fun to see if somebody's gonna try to make it work, but yeah, I actually think that the relation of that stone to the bottom right corner in game 1 was the more important part, probably. And that actually it's already been played a lot. In fact, it's one of Nakamura Sumire's sort of secret weapons. It's one of the shapes that she likes to play often. Maybe she's feeling aggrieved. KataGo stole my strategy. I would have surprised Shin Jinseo with this one if KataGo hadn't stolen it from her. The push from behind from white on the left side, the earlier pushes were responded to by Shin Jinseo a lot quicker because it was more obvious that you had to answer. Actually, these like presses, the pushes from behind, they're far more irritating when it's unclear that you should answer or not. Where you kind of want to Hane, but it could be greedy, yeah. You kind of want to extend, but it could be passive. It could be too slow. You kind of want to play away and say it's too small, but that could be weak. It could be thin. It's difficult to figure out how exactly to handle it. She probably got it from KataGo in the first place. Yeah, I mean, maybe, but it's also like her style. Maybe she got it from KataGo, but I don't know. If you play enough in the spirit of a move, I feel like it becomes yours, even if you got it from someone else, right? If you become a Taisha expert, then the Taisha is your Taisha. Doesn't matter that it was made by somebody in the 1800s or whatever. If you play enough like a Taisha player, then you are a Taisha player. So this is an awkward moment. What do you guys, Hane, extend, or Tanuki? You feel? Hane extend, I guess the Tanuki, maybe it's the right side, or maybe like a knight's move here. Maybe a turn. Turn in the center looks okay, maybe. Maybe the right side. Oh my goodness. The Fox odds are currently 93% Shin Jinseo? Okay, he's favored, but surely not 93%. You guys think it's 93%? That's kind of crazy. I'm gonna make another poll on who I should bet on. Just like we did on the period 2. The previous one. Let me do this. Let me figure out how to set this up again. How to do this. Who should we bet on? Shin Jinseo or KataGo? Where do my Fox coins lie? 93% odds. So the way that odds work on Fox is that you get less payout the more people are voting. So we get a tiny return on voting on Shin Jinseo and a huge return on voting on KataGo. So Shin Jinseo ended up Tanukiing, by the way. He did not choose to answer on the left side. Why could you Tanuki? It's because this doesn't break the left side from black. Like, black is still going to survive. And the other move that you could play gains more value. Basically, the left side territory was too small to just answer and be satisfied with that. So Shin Jinseo chose to build the center instead to cover all of that Aji. I think that was a good move to reduce the chances that things could happen this game, so long as the left side is stable and he doesn't die there, which should be pretty easy. Hane and Cut We Trust seems black has a lot of strength there. Yeah, so I think black totally could have played the Hane there, but even if he got away with it, it just wouldn't have been that much reward. You can see compared to this variation, where white had nothing better really to do than to just Hane and extend, press black down. If you had Hane'd yourself, you would spend a full move to make your territory on the left side just like 6 points bigger or so, and to create a cut for white. Jinseo just judged, I can get more points in the center by playing in the center. I agree. I think the Tanuki is the better choice. KataGo says to Tanuki and to play on the top side there, so to capture there apparently. Oh, have we passed the vote? Oh my goodness, they didn't pause on move 100 for me. Oh, I didn't get to bet. Well, okay. You guys said to bet on Shin Jinseo and get the terrible returns anyway, so. I would have bet on Shin Jinseo, since you guys said so, but we'll see on period 3 here. We'll do it again on period 3. I'll make sure to get my bet in and follow the poll results. Scammed indeed. Sorry. Why do Fox coins exist? Do they do anything? No. It's just for fun. They exist just to have something to bet on with no consequences. Guaranteed returns is better than no returns. So white is choosing to look like they're building the right side from this. It's interesting that KataGo has done this a couple times, where it's playing the low, running out, and then actually trying to transition that to the other side. It's very rare in human games because this counter is so easy. You just extend up, and then you have all the cutting points to play. Excuse me, to play with. And white doesn't have very much territory at all over there. And it's very hard to build it. It's hard for white to get in there, and black is not going to be weak in the bottom right. Built to play. Can you buy Go skins? What you can do, once you get Foxcoin rich enough, and you have to be very Foxcoin rich, what you can do is you can send out global announcements. So I guess in a way it's like a Go skin, but everybody sees it. It's how you make the dogs appear on the players' faces, you emotes, this kind of thing. But extremely temporary Go skins. And that's all you get. That's what you get from the Fox coins, and only if you win billions. Anyway, it's just for fun. Black plays this turn in the bottom left. The intent is that this will be sente. I thought you were supposed to cut in such situations, even if you couldn't make something happen. But Shinjinso not cut. And even if you didn't cut, I thought you were supposed to leave it so that the opponent can't taunt it. But I guess there would just be a diagonal from white if you left it, so it wouldn't change much. It seems like this is not an accurate endgame move, but it's Shinjinso, so I must just be wrong. When white Tiger Mouth here, if I were playing an opponent at my level, I would think, oh, they messed up. They weren't supposed to let me Tiger's Mouth or something. It seems like it's just a gain for white, locally speaking, compared to black doing nothing. But maybe not. Jinseo has it in the bag. Time to head to bed. It does seem like he has it in the bag, but it's KataGo. You like the turn at 09? This move is a nice move because it's on the boundary of the two areas, but I think that Shinjinso will emphasize more on the side if you would play over here. To play directly on the side limits white's ability to play on the side. Even if white can push, it's not going to be able to make a cut because black is so thick. And there's not that much territory on the side from black's perspective, but there's still some. And I think the push here doesn't make that much for black. I think white would be happy to like Ane and still threaten to reduce that and at the same time get more side territory. Don't you feel that Shin might be able to take on Kata without handicap? No shot. It's not even close. Certainly not. Certainly not. Oh, white played the solid connect rather than the Tiger's Mouth. I guess in terms of the normal endgame, you'd expect it's better, and maybe it's better for co-threats. Solid connect might be a better choice, assuming that white gets to make some co to make the game more complicated. It should be almost no chance for KataGo. I agree. but not that easy. It's not that easy. I can tell you, if you subbed me in, I wouldn't be able to win. Maybe the Fox commentator could win, but if you subbed me in and had me play black, well, I have won a game or two like this, but the cushion for me needs to be a bit bigger for me to be comfortable. I need to have 5 more points to be able to play passive and win this kind of game. Wow, it seems like Shinjinso will actually win. 2-1 though. Nuts. You just copied the position and tried against KataGo and lost by half a point? You're a Fox 7 Don now, right? 7 Yun, you ranked up recently? So it's not that easy to win. KataGo may have gained a point again just now. Yeah, the bottom left wasn't that great. Around a 10 points lead only, really? 13 points lead, according to the KataGo on the green stream I'm watching. This is a position where top pros tend to resign when someone's ahead by 3 points. I don't think so. I think if someone was ahead by 3 points, they would not resign here. This still has more than enough life left in it. Top pros would resign here if someone was leading by 13 points. Maybe if someone was leading by about 10 or so is the deficit where I would see a resignation with this. So like they would resign here as white if this was Shin Jinseo against some other top pro. But it's not that far of a difference. And KataGo plays perfect. It's scary. It's very scary. Trying to enter in the moves here that we saw. Where'd it even go? Not good news that I don't remember. Ah, yeah, we built the right side of it. Change that. So change the it on the right side. And Ane. Yeah, I think I have the position in my KataGo here. White has just played the push here. White is making a bit of an area for herself in the bottom center, taking care of the weak group really, really efficiently, as you'd expect. Does feel a bit bad for KataGo to play some Senteis that Shin Jinseo can easily respond to without losing any value, but on the other hand, the setup of this bottom right... It's likely that KataGo can find a way to gain a point or two bullying the endgame. It's not like this is gonna die anytime soon, but it's a little awkward to handle the cuts around Q4, as well as the endgames on both sides, and the potential life and death eventually. It's the kind of position which is very hard to time as black, because you would like to play the Hane connects on either side, and sort of thicken yourself, but it gives white extra thickness. And if you don't do them, then often you'll have to pay for your own cutting points and lose value in the borders. So it's very difficult to time it exactly right to play all your endgame right in the bottom right. But it should be only a point or two that Shin Jinseo loses at max over there. Has it wasted any co-threats yet? No, it will. It will not waste co-threats, I think, for quite a while here. This this left side reverse Sente monkey jump was quite large, but there's a little bit of an issue when white Hana is, right? About this. Oh, it looks like it'll be okay for black. So white's going to Hane connect here. This is the live game. This is just about the most boring Go game ever, so congrats to Shin for managing that. Yes, Shin is making it as boring as possible. You know, the previous game, he did so well to outfight KataGo in a fighting game. That's very impressive, right? I think nobody else has ever done it. But Shin Jinseo is great because he doesn't have to fight to win games. Like, if you were just the best fighter ever and that was it, then he wouldn't be so dominant. Part of the reason he's dominant is because he can grind out like this, and he doesn't get bored. And he's careful, and he's Yeah, he's gonna pay attention to what exactly is happening. So my understanding of the position over there, let's say we played away as black, then this peep could come, but if you extended further, it would die. There's no way to create a snapback, right? Like, can't do that. You could only play through this far, and then at the end, you owe a move, but not right away, because the liberty isn't filled on the outside. So what we're giving to white, if white plays that next move, compared to if black plays. So if black plays, then in Gote they can take all those points. We're giving white, how much is that? See? 7 points. And the connection here. Oh, and wait, already also has exchanged the, I didn't put it in, but yeah. Wait, has already exchanged this one. Well, I gotta go not have that yet. We haven't seen a move as surprising this whole game as the first move from game 1. Yeah, I don't think that this game was played with the handicap settings. It doesn't look like this is KataGo with handicap settings. It looks like this is KataGo playing an honest game. Yes, you noticed the missing exchange there that I hadn't put in. So in the game KataGo, that 7-point threat isn't enough. Jinseo not baited to answer. KataGo ended up spending Gote to stop black from playing the next move there in Sente. So if white had played away somewhere, let's say block, then this Hane Connect would have been black's Sente, and then you wouldn't even have any cutting threat left at all over here, since the cut could always be answered by the ladder in this direction. So that was really annoying, and that's what KataGo is actually blocking here. It was a large reverse Sente, but that's tremendously good for black, because the, the ability to continue play Sente is so valuable. Finally, white is going to try to trigger something and change the flow of the game, but I think it's too late. What do handicap settings do? You can tell KataGo to disrespect its opponent's reading power a bit more. It knows what to do with that. They trained it well. And I think that they did not tell that to this KataGo. They did not tell KataGo that it was a better player than Shin Jinseo. That's my guess, what I've seen. Of course, it's just vibes. I don't know, but hoping. Is this, in fact, the live game? I believe so. Yes. Let's go to show you this. Here it is. Yes, this is the live game. And still Shin Jinseo is leading by 12.5 points. He's lost almost nothing this whole game. Do you think it was enabled in game 2? I think so. I don't know. Not sure. It may not have been. Can I show why the E8 cut didn't work for black? So you're talking about the cut, or why the E8 cut doesn't work for black. So you're talking about the cut. Let me go back to here. So you're talking about why black can't play here. And it's not that you won't be able to capture the 2 stones, it's just that it's small. So you could totally do that and capture the 2 stones. But white has this move, that's probably Sente. And then let's go on, do their own thing. This is not a very big benefit. I mean, white could also try to fight back against it, but I wouldn't expect it. Yeah. White can just leave it, in fact, and not touch it. So it's just not a big area because this black is so thick. Whenever you're thick and you capture stones, you don't gain as much as you expect, because normally when you capture stones, what you gain is thickness. But if you were already very strong, then it didn't change anything about who was strong. Is the assumption that if it needs to disrespect the opponent, so it doesn't necessarily play less accurately. It's just that it plays like it plays the moves that are more complicated. It believes complications favor itself, right? It doesn't mean it's taking a sacrifice necessarily to enter complications. It could, but if it has equal options, it'll go for the one which is more likely to win, the handicap game. So in the actual game here, what we have is white just exchanged the one move inside, Jinseo calmly answering, and then white had to answer. This is just so big territorially, can't do this. I mean, can't let black do this, but it's pretty over, to be honest. This is it's rapidly decreasing the size of the board, like the size of the areas that Shinjinso needs to fight over. Hmm. 09 now seems big. It's getting bigger, for sure. Also, you could just directly play on the right side to cover that effectively. The extend here is pretty big because it threatens to push and wedge, force white back even more, and also give black more potential over here. You thought you were gonna have to stay up late for this one? We had a whole pot of coffee and everything. Yeah, it's still possible Shinjinso will drag it out on us. It's his decision of how much time he wants to use on the clock, but it does seem like this game could end quite quickly. He doesn't. If he wanted to blitz it out, he could probably win. Sub in Shinjinso with 20 seconds Byoyomi, and I think he can win from here still. Current eval is black by 12.5 points. He has 3 hours and 40 minutes left on his clock. Wow. Go here. But actually, when you watch AI versus AI games, they do look a lot like this as well, by the way. AI versus AI tends to be very calm. They don't like to contest very much. Yes, it's black who's leading tremendously. Sub in chat GPT for KataGo. So there's no one place where black is gonna blunder 10 plus points. If yeah. If KataGo could win, but you would have to gain it steadily throughout the board, everywhere. But I agree that with Semenyun that, I mean, I am a Fox 9 Don, at least I have been many times, and I'm relatively okay at endgame. I'm like probably average skill at endgame for Fox 9 Don. I would win this game. Should I try? You guys think I could try to play versus KataGo from here? I don't know how to set that up. Can I start set up position from here? Let me go back. Um, It's good. Here. There. Effort. That. Good. Should I play against Kata Handicap? Like the KataGo with the handicap aggression, or should I play against normal KataGo guys? If I play from here. KataGo could still win with the physical altercation to CG. KataGo needs to hire some hire some assistants. Unethical assistants for KataGo. You think it's the normal one here? Play normal? Yeah, that's probably the right way. Okay. Let's see. I can do that. And then we do this and here. Okay. So I believe that this is now me versus KataGo. I should change the name. Me. Okay, so now when I play, then KataGo should respond. So yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to start with this move. I'm gonna play it rather inaccurate endgame. I'm not gonna actually try very hard. Okay, KataGo should think for a moment and then play. I believe it's thinking. Okay, did I set this up wrong? Maybe if I do this. Oh, sorry. No, that's not what I wanted. How do I do this again? Forget. There's a hotkey, but I forgot what the hotkey is to make it play against me. Well. Jinseo just played J6, the extend here, which I was mentioning first. Makes a lot of sense. Of course, it's a good move. Wait, played kick on the right side? Does anyone know how to make this KataGo actually play? Yeah, you can. Yep, we'll play. So I want to play. That too much thinking. The extend here. Play against me. Come on. Orange to processing. Curious. Have I set it up to be using too much? It should be able to play against me. This isn't like too much. Be able to do that, right? Doing that. Every 50th ply, Shin Jinseo should get unlimited time to play a sealed move. Kind of funny. Back just extends. This is what I would do. Shin Jinseo has played yet. You won by 2.5? Okay. Yeah. Fox 7 Dun can win by 2.5 from here. Presumably pretty blitz, right? 7 Noon, I don't think you are the type to have paused and pondered too much. I'm not actually sure how I'm supposed to get it to play me. It's a shame. Doesn't really matter, does it? No thinking. Yeah, makes sense. What I'm concluding here is that Shin Jinseo, he's taking a break again, taking his time. He's going to just use this as a victory lap to demonstrate how much better he is to crush KataGo. And yeah, maybe we'll see another challenge match in the future. He did mention in um uh pre pre-match press conference that he enjoyed preparing for this and that he was looking forward to maybe some future other kinds of challenge matches. Maybe if this game is completely dominant as it seems to be, somebody's going to try to make him play against KataGo antagonist version, or KataGo um that has learned has learned a little more how to play against exactly Shin Jinseo, um the real game. Or perhaps we're going to see KataGo on only one stone of handicap rather than two. It would still need to be a full stone of handicap. I don't think Shin Jinseo can possibly beat KataGo on no Komi. If Shin Jinseo ever beat KataGo on no Komi, it would be absolutely nuts. A 10-match Jubango, that could be fun as well. Jubango is a format where the handicap changes as you win and lose. So if this were a Jubango, then Shin Jinseo would be one match away from knocking KataGo down to um one full stone of Komi. But this game is defined by how well Shin Jinseo played at this stage. So White played the sort of standard method to save, and Shin Jinseo made it into a super long Jiseki, which is not particularly wrong, right? And then at this stage, it was still looking like it was a little potentially messy, but it was perfect to play the cover jump here into the inside Hane, like this. This part is where Shin Jinseo won. There was nothing that White could possibly do that's better than what White did in this case, but the end result for Black is that they're so thick, there's nothing to fight over in the upper left or on the top side, and so the cut doesn't matter anymore. All of the fighting just disappeared, and White only gained like a point, right? It was a perfect resolution to the top side from handicap perspective. And then this shoulder hit as well, dominant to demonstrate that he could build a big topside, and White played too respectfully, too fairly. So it just allowed Shin Jinseo to cover that whole area, and then once it's covered, the game is over. I think most humans would not have allowed Black to cover this. I mean, even I wouldn't have allowed Black to cover this. But the shoulder hit was very nice strategically, and this was all set up by the great decisions that he had strategically to use this weak group to build a big topside area. And he actually managed to just get the entire top center. The only reason why he can just materialize 20 points here is because the White weak group was paying for itself in an objectively fair and even gaining way for White, right? Like, so overall in this game, don't forget, White has gained a full Komi's worth of value. But that came from the efficiency of giving Black a very slightly too small center, when in reality that very slightly too small center just ran away with the game from a win rate perspective, from actually being able to win the handicap game perspective. So Shin Jinseo is very happy to accept that kind of a trade. Is KataGo capable of intentionally overplaying to complicate the game? It is capable. Seems like perhaps they didn't pick that setting. For today, at least. It is more than capable of doing that. In fact, it will do that even in its normal setting. But you can ask it to do that more, and I don't think that they did. Hane, black descend. This is all very easy. Shin Jinseo chose to Hane, by the way, rather than to play my extend sort of blindly going forward. Just Hane here. And the reason why is that he gets to block himself, and still White has nothing better to do than to just block here. So he knew already what he was allowing to White. I'm sort of fighting against White getting this area, but it makes sense from Shin Jinseo to allow White to get this area, because he knew when White does go for it, White can only just give Black more stuff, while White takes that extra stuff. Finally, White plays this jump, so that fixes the cut that Black could have always played over there. But this game is seriously over. I mean, we should be seeing the end of it within 30 minutes, for sure. I'm sure Shinjin still knows. This game is over. Yeah, beating KataGo on 9 stones is a benchmark, right? For a lot of people. What's the point of all these settings? Shouldn't we be looking at the strongest version of KataGo? So the point is that it's kind of debatable what the strongest version of KataGo really is. And they picked one which a lot of people would believe is the strongest, and there are others which other people believe would be the strongest. It depends on how much, like, you want KataGo to play objectively well versus how much you want KataGo to play well against a human or well against like a 2-stone opponent. In this game, KataGo played objectively well, and so that wasn't the greatest challenge. That's what gives the debate. The KataGo we saw in this game is trying to play as objectively powerful as possible. Yeah, the Chinese commentary booth is saying that now anybody with a rating of Fox 7 Dan or higher can finish off the game and beat KataGo. Which is true. We have a Fox 7 Dan in the chat who did it. Maybe they can try reverse Komi next time. Only 12 points lead. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? In game 1, 18 points lead was nowhere near enough. In game 2, it was just about right. It was just the right amount. And this game seems like 12 points lead might have been too small. But yeah, reverse Komi might be interesting for another game. Can you set up KataGo to aim for a 60% win rate? I think somebody set up KataGo once to aim for a 50% win rate. Like there's a KataGo that tries to draw you. Someone has made that. I don't know. I don't know the details of such things. Jinseo making us believe we can also do this, but we can't. I mean, he's doing a lot of subtle things very, very, very well. But, it does look quite easy, doesn't it? It really does. I mean, he made a lot of choices that I totally could have made. He didn't do anything in this game that I couldn't have done. However, I would not have done all these things. I could have done them all, but I wouldn't have. Absolutely everything is a choice that I could have made. And they're just all the right choices. But yeah, he really did make it look so easy. And turn here is so easy. Good night. Thanks for the commentary. Thank you. By the way, the previous VOD 2 days ago, the live chat doesn't show up in the replay anymore. Um, it's my fault. I did have it configured to save, but then um, that music that I played during my one break was copyright claimed, even though I intentionally tried to pick a piece of music that was non-copyright. Apparently, it was only non-copyright a while ago, and then very recently it was like published by a studio, and then and then they claimed it on me. So I was like, okay, come on, whatever. I'm going to um, mute that section of the stream, and then it's all good. But then when I muted that, it turns out if you edit the live stream after it goes up, no matter what edit it was, whether it's a mute or anything like that, it just nukes the whole live chat. You can't see the live chat replay anymore. So unfortunately, that chat is gone. Hopefully, I just repeated the questions I was answering enough during that stream, or if you want to go back and rewatch that one. But that's part of the reason why I made a video on Game 2, was so that it would be a better experience than watching that stream. People who didn't see that game. I think Game 2, if you liked watching this game, the Game 2 video I posted earlier today is more exciting, is better. This game is so over. It is so over. 97-3, and I'm still betting on Shin, by the way. I'm not gonna give the chat a chance to pull away my Fox coins. Sorry to say. Yeah, he's pausing a while here because he is trying to play as cleanly as possible. He wants to win by as many points as possible. If he wins by more than 10, it's like a headline, right? What happened game 1? So in game 1, I streamed on Twitch and I posted that VOD on Telesimego. But game 2, I was excited. It was my birthday, so I decided to stream on YouTube. Thank you all for coming to watch on YouTube, by the way. Glad you're all here. KataGo played the weirdest, unpredictable move on move 3. Yeah, that was what happened in game 1 that made Jinseo. He said he lost his control, lost his mindset, and didn't play that well. This move is, we said it was 7 points earlier, right? Seems like that's the biggest on the board. I think that Jinseo is actually just trying to calculate and play it all. Perfect. Oh yeah, you can like live streams on YouTube. If you're watching this stream, you've enjoyed it, then give it a like. That's cool. I forgot you could do that. And you can also subscribe, of course. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to the Go Congress, the US Go Congress in well, this coming weekend. In the next week, I will be posting the recap of game 2 of the finals, the NAGF Pro Qual that happened recently. Proper recap is coming soon. And that game was really fun. And we're gonna see whether during the Go Congress, whether I'm gonna be able to record anything there or not. I will be bringing like my setup, my computer. I'm not gonna be bringing my ring light, but I'll be bringing a lot of my stuff. So I might be able to record some like Congress games recaps. I also might be very busy. We'll see. We'll see how much fun I get up to. But if you meet me at Congress, then I'd love to say hi. Yeah, it'll be in Boston. If you're just generally in Boston, you should go to Go Congress for whatever you can. And I'm gonna be doing the speaking of Q lessons, the double-digit Q lessons for 2 of the days. So if you are going to Go Congress, those double-digit Q lessons should be quite fun. One of them is on um, double-sided shapes, meaning shapes with black and white stones. The other one is on Aji. It'll be a actually useful class on Aji for double-digit Qs. That's my plan and my dream. So demystify it. Stop being so weird about it. Hopefully those will also have some like recording set up so that I can even have video of them as well. That would be really cool. And if not, then I'll just probably do them again for Telegraph Go YouTube video. And yeah, Telesumego is my second channel, so that's where Game 1 is, if you want to see the live stream I had of Game 1. And it's where I'm posting a bunch of other random videos. In fact, I think there's one scheduled right now, which there probably shouldn't be. This is a little too much Go content. Check. um, no, it's not scheduled for tonight. Okay, excellent. What day am I doing my lessons in Boston? Check to make sure that I get it right when they are. So on Sunday and on Friday is the current times that I'm booked. If it's yeah. So Sunday and Friday at for 1 hour from 1:30 to 2:30, and it's still moving around what room exactly that'll be in. But you should be able to find if you're at the Go Congress, you should be able to find it on the like schedule app that they have. No such thing as too much Go content. I can't just like post 25 hours of Go content a day. No, nobody has the time to be watching all that. But hopefully I have a good amount to post during the Go Congress week. Can't believe he deviated from the opening that won game 2. Yeah, he didn't even play the 4-4 to let the flying knight happen again, and he just won even harder. But yeah. You'll watch it double speed. More vlog Go content. Yeah, I'm not a vlogger. Someone else will do that. There's some good Go channels popping up recently. There was one. Neil something, I believe. Work on making. Yeah, I'm sure there are other people who are capable of vlogging who will attend the Go Congress. We'll see whether anybody does it. Would be fun, actually. Not for me. Pakutko. Yes. Neil Pakutko. New Go YouTuber. Videos. Sunday the 26th and Friday the 31st? Yes. 1:30 p.m. in Boston. I'll be there. And break it up into shorts? Yeah, I've actually um done a little bit of work to get shorts going, but yeah, shorts are high effort to like I don't know, it feels like low product, um low satisfaction making them. Maybe I just need to find a way to make them less high effort. There's a reason why people why bigger YouTubers will like hire shorts editors. Nobody wants to do that. But it needs to be done if you want the short to be good. I have the scene. It looks very funny if I use the shorts scene on this. I guess I can show you. It's gonna look very strange for a moment, okay? It's very silly. Like, yeah, this is what it looks like. For this, I have like it's completely nonsensical if I put it in landscape. But I have the scenes set up so that if this were in short form, that's what it like where everything would be in the right place if it were in different dimensions. But I need to do more effort to like take some um like one of the things I was thinking about is the Dang Yifei lecture videos. He gives those homeworks, like 4 homeworks per week. And I was gonna make each of those 4 homeworks into a short every time. This is gonna be like 48 shorts or something, which would all be pretty interesting. But to do them, I can't just use AI to edit fast. You have to script your short, and the scripting actually does matter. Like you have to, if it's a short, they're all so high energy. I'm not that high energy normally, guys. This is my normal state of energy. I can't just like, you know, scream or shout about a crazy Tetsuji on command. I have to be excited about it, and the sort of natural excitement is too slow for a short. And um, so the script doesn't have to be like I say these words, but it has to be I say this and I say that and then I say that, right? Like I need to know what exactly I'm doing, and then I need to get all the go positions to show that, and then I need to show the moves in time with my, with my words, and I have to have this be, I mean, the more exciting the better for shorts, I think. In general, this kind of like quiz-like structure doesn't even perform that well for um, for shorts for other, um, other creators. People are more interested in shorts with more human content. And of course, Go, it can be plenty human, but I'm just not really interested in playing that game, the shorts YouTube game. Like one trick per short. I could do it. Maybe I'll try. Yeah, it was definitely not going to be like win every Go game with this one trick. Although there are some tricks that I could use for such a thing. Those tricks are better served for a full YouTube video. Right? Some very common tricks. Don't you just edit out all the pauses? Well, now you're taking all the stress of scripting and putting it in the editing process. It's not like I have a video editor, guys. I do all my editing myself. And I hate editing. I hate it. So I'd much rather be able to do minimal editing, very, very minimal editing. And of course, you still have to do some editing for a short. Not talking about serious editing necessarily, but even just start here, stop there. That's editing. One short per Taisha variation. It's good as a creator, I think, to make the content that you would like yourself. Like, for example, if I weren't making my Telegraphico videos, I would be watching them. And I'm a fan of Go Game Series who makes similar content. I think he does great. Um, there's very few shorts that I like to engage with. Go shorts. Basically, Yonkyo Sumego shorts are the only ones that are even remotely interesting to me. And if I liked shorts more, I'd be much more inclined to do them, probably. I don't know. Do you guys like Go shorts? I know there's Go Magic shorts, which are often pretty well received. I think they do a great job making them, but also they're the kind of shorts which I feel more of that creator's energy. Like I feel like the Go Magic shorts, they are the kind of content that the Go Magic creators would enjoy themselves, and therefore it works better, right? There's something about like you can stay better in tune with your audience if you would like to be part of your audience. The thumbnail always spoils it. Oh. Jinseo is actually spending all his time. What the heck, man? It's been 30 minutes since he was guaranteed victory. He's down to a 10-point lead, but there's nothing left. There's literally nothing left. There's just this little bit of center, like, like literally nothing. Excuse me. The chat believes that shorts are evil. I do agree in general that there's a lot of um there's a lot of shorts that aren't they aren't out there to make you feel better, to make you happier. But it's good to be able to um I mean, it's basically like advertising for your long form content. If your short is similar to your long form content, then somebody could come across your short and be like, "Oh, that seems interesting. Let me try to see what this guy does, what he talks about when he has enough time." I'd prefer making shorts to like buying advertisements. You've liked some of Triton Buduk's shorts. Yeah, it's a comparative disadvantage to chess because the board is so huge. That's true. So it's harder to fit the board in. But actually, when you watch chess shorts, which I did watch a little bit to try to understand like what the market even is, what the shorts community even wants, they rarely show full board anyway. Like they're almost always full face cam or like zoom in on part of the board. Like it's very rarely actual chess content. Your Go community is too small, so it's tough to learn from your local Go players. So what to do to keep ranking up from Fox Tudon? I recommend solving Sumego, getting better at reading. And you can do that in whichever way you find enjoyable. But recently, there's been a app I've recommended most of my students, which is called Go the Infinite Path. I think is fantastic, fantastic for learning how to read in sort of real game situations. You can try if you're at Fox Tudon, you can try probably like National Soul level, which is a funny name on Go the Infinite Path. Hopefully it'll be fun too. Basically, if you get better at reading, then it helps you to understand the higher level strategies because you can read them out. More historical game series? Absolutely. Coming. Coming. Um, yeah, I don't want to spoil it in case I change which exact historical game series I'm more interested in. But yes, there will be more historical games for sure. It is very fun that we get to like like I get to judge Huang Longshe and I get to judge Zhu Xingyu um from their games against each other. And normally you would never judge the the players from the 1600s. Like you can't do that in chess even, and especially you can't do that in modern games. You can't judge how good or bad the people born in 1600 would be at Rocket League. You know, it's fun that we get to do it. Did I see the number file video on Go recently? I did see that. It was a good video. You could tell that the expert presenting was a Go player and had the same struggles that most Go players have as they try to communicate the awesome things that are here without losing the audience. It's really difficult. Really difficult. But I thought they did a good job in general. And it is interesting that it's actually so close to Googleplex, the number of what they called reasonable games, right? I didn't know about that. Or was it not the number of reasonable games, but the number of actual games? Like legal games is a Googleplex, and reasonable games is much smaller. I mean, literal reasonable games is much, much smaller. Much, much, much. At this point, the game is no longer if Shin would win, but rather it's whether or not Shin will make further endgame mistakes. Yeah, it's just how much is Shin Jinseo gonna win by? He probably wants to win by more than Komi, just to rub it in the AI's face. The takeaway is that Shin Jinseo did a great job simplifying the game into common Josekis again. It's honestly not even just simplifying through Josekis. He did do a good job of that, and like the opening part where he simplified the bottom left was great, but um this part isn't really Joseki. I mean, this was a Joseki part where he simplified, but it was still somewhat awkward. He simplified it through the middle game here. This part in the actual fighting, this was just yeah, dominant. Extremely good strategic choice through there and through here. And I think that the AI did not fight hard enough. A more antagonistic AI, a more resilient AI, should not be doing push from behind, and feed you the entire center. This is, yeah, objectively gaining for white, but in terms of win rate, losing a bajillion points all at once. And yeah, maybe it would have been better for white as well to have cut and done the other Joseki to deny black from thickening, but I really think that Shinjin Soja sort of did a good job there. Ah, did the number file video have some problem counting? I don't really believe like as soon as I know what's his name, um the mathematical legend who does the actual counting. As soon as I hear his name is involved, I'm just like, all right, I trust you. Whatever you say. AlphaGo plays a 5th line shoulder hit versus Lisa Doll, and Shin can't be outdone and plays the 6th line shoulder hit against KataGo to win. Yeah. We should do the final game between Shusaku versus Ota Yuzo, game 23 of their 30-game match. Yeah, Ota paused the match after that. He got a Jigo with white pre-Komi. Yeah, I've seen that game before. I actually have my book. Excuse me. I have my book here. Do I have it right nearby? Where was that game? Here. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know where exactly that game is in the book, but it's in here somewhere. I should do more soccer games in general. I do sometimes with my students show my Katrin, did I switch to play mode off analysis? Is that what made it so that I wasn't playing? I don't really know what play mode or analysis mode would be. Oh, over here, I don't think this would. Oh, it did. Oh my goodness, you were so right. If I had done it like this, then I could have played against KataGo. Yep, okay. Play mode versus analysis was the reason why. Thank you. It's too late now. We've yeah, we've gone way past the level where it's even interesting for me to play against KataGo here. I would win too easily if I played black here against KataGo. Good shout. Thank you. Sorry about that. I didn't know. I haven't actually tried to play KataGo from a middle of the game position ever before. This. Or well, I did before, but that practice was maybe with a different user interface, or somehow it just I never did it when I wasn't already in play mode. That's what happened. Ah, I see. AI has certainly improved Shin Jinseo as a player more than the others, but you think we'll still see much room for creativity even in these games, even if Shin Jinseo is just looking for creative ways to play passive? Yeah, in these games, there's some room for creativity. I think Shin Jinseo said in his interview that the middle game, as long as he's trying to like dumb it down, the middle game is not that easy to improve. Like he basically said, I don't think we can learn that much more from KataGo for middle game strategy, like plain old middle game strategy. That largely has to be done with just better reading and judgment as a human. But towards the late middle game and towards the early game, you can learn a lot from KataGo still as humans. That's what I think he said. Could have been a mistranslation. But I think that this is kind of true that people are getting better at the end game still from some of the KataGo like great Tsujis that it can show us, and then thinking about it ourselves. And people are getting better at the early middle game still, by getting better at understanding some of the strategic ideas that KataGo uses. But a lot of the time, and the judgment in the middle game when you're on your own, you already know a lot of the ideas at the top human level, but you just don't know which of the ideas are good. and KataGo can't really help you there. It's just a skill issue. So I think I agree that in general, like after AI, most people haven't gotten much better in the middle game from the AI, but they have gotten a lot better in the opening and at the late middle game. Maybe even the end game. Last game, KataGo is way more aggressive when it thought it would lose. Yeah, I think in this game, KataGo would also have been more aggressive if it thought it had a chance by being more aggressive, but it just Wasn't even close. Wasn't even remotely close. You think Shin Jinseo can ever win with one stone handicap and reverse Komi? This game implies yes. I mean, if he plays like he did in this game, then yes, absolutely he could. Um, this game was this game he crushed it so hard that he could almost have won this game on flat out no Komi. He still wouldn't have, but it would have been close. Yeah, KataGo versus Shin Jinseo reverse Komi. I think it's the kind of thing which they might try to challenge him with next time, but this is just too dominant performance this game. I think this isn't representative of normal gameplay. And you can see why I was saying like never been done before on game 2. In game 2 he fought to beat it. This is what it normally looks like, by the way, when most of the top pros are beating KataGo or beating Fine Art on 2 stones, no Komi. This is generally how it looks like. Kill off the whole game, we never fight, I win. Because I was leading at the beginning. So the fact that he won through fighting in game 2 is really incredible. That was a treat. Yeah, having one less stone on the board actually doesn't change as much as like when you have a lot of stones on the board. If it were 3 stones or 4 stones and you go down to 3, then the amount of initial aggression available strategically is vastly different. But actually with only 2 stones, it's pretty hard to combine these 2 stones into any kind of moyo. You can see black basically didn't ever do that here. He didn't make any particularly effective moyos. It was more just like a position which is fine here and a position which is fine there. And then the moyo that he did make has really nothing to do with the fact that he had the initial advantage. It's more like he just outplayed KataGo, to be honest, strategically. But like his stone advantages are not in the part of the board where he even built the moyo, to be honest. So I think that this game could have gone very similarly if it had been just a reverse Komi, no stone handicap at all, like none of that. It would have probably been quite similar. Okay, Shin Jinseo. He doesn't have his driver's license yet? Are you sure about that? He's as old as me, right? Isn't he? I think he's about as old as me. I feel like it just depends what Jiseki's KataGo goes into. Yeah, the 3 space high approach in game 1 was a good choice from KataGo, but in game 1 it did do the same thing. Like in game 1 it also had this bottom right Jiseki that it played, but it just played it a little more loosely, and then it eventually encouraged Shin Jinseo to lose control. In this game, Shin Jinseo sort of had a plan exactly what to do against KataGo playing like that. It does come down a lot to Jiseki choice, that's for sure, but we can check the last few moves, by the way. KataGo played this Hane Connect, which is not Sente, so black blocked in the center. And we're just playing straight up 2-point end games everywhere. And obviously aiming at the wedge to reduce everything and force black to spend another move, so the block is obviously required. Yeah, some places you don't need to drive. It's not like he needs a driver's license necessarily, but I would be surprised if they organized a match where he gets a 6-figure car, but he doesn't have a driver's license yet. That would be kind of funny. pretty sure he has a driver's license. How much is he leading by? Let's see. What does the stream says? It's 10.5. Good night. Since Shin doesn't have a driver's license, they're thinking of buying it from him, says the Korean commentators. That's funny. AI is stronger, giving 12 points reverse Komi? No, I don't think so. I think that at 2 stones, it really doesn't change the game that much. It's like, um, I understand it's a common belief because, especially for low-don players, having those stones is more valuable than the AI says it is. it's it's just true. For low-don games, it is more effective to have stones than to have the AI approve of you. But at this level, and with only 2 stones, it just doesn't have that much of an effect in the game that they can act synergistically in the way that you think that they do when you're the type of player who wins your games with moyos. the, the, the moyos aren't actually real. They aren't actually synergistic like that at the beginning of the game. And if you would get that kind of value later, you could get that kind of value with or without like a Komi deficit. You'll always get places where you have high amounts of power, high amounts of influence, and low amounts of power and low amounts of influence. And the more stones you have, the more likely you are to just keep the game in high amounts of power, which is nice, but also having low amounts of power is entirely playable for a player like Shin Jinseo. He doesn't have a problem with that. And do you think Shin will reinforce the left side from this? So this is maybe the last trick from KataGo, whether there is a required reinforcement or not. There is some interest here because the attach, you tiger, and then Hane, if you cover that, which it seems like natural, then there could be an attach again from white, which if you answered, then white could capture the 1 stone, right? That would be very big. So then you would think about playing on the outside of that, allowing white to capture, and then to connect here. And then at the end of all of that, seems like back is connected anyway. Is there any way for white to make that a bit snazzier? Trying to find a way, but don't really see it. Looks like black does not have to answer to this. So Shin Jinseo will read very carefully. Start with A10 as white. Yeah, this is a way to try to improve. So if black covers the center, then we would want to Atari, and capture like that. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned about this one because of just connect back. Oh, but this way there could be an Atari here into an Atari into a snapback. So maybe this one can be effective. I would have to play attach on the top side against it. And then after you cover like this, then I can just maybe save and let you cut. Oh, after you cut cover like this, I can't really do that because I would lose timing to Atari. Okay, maybe this peep is the only move that can ever do anything over there. Not exactly sure how it can work. Heard that AlphaGo Lee is 3 stones weaker than AlphaGo Master. They were doing some funny things when they were playing AlphaGos versus AlphaGos. I don't believe it. I don't trust it. I don't believe in any of it. I think that they all of the AlphaGo versus AlphaGo scores are suspect. Including the AlphaGo 0 versus AlphaGo Master and the AlphaGo KataGo versus the AlphaGo, like all the AlphaGo matches are strange. Not connecting is a mistake, playing with ego and pride rather than taking the safe chicken move for your victory. So even if Shin Jinseo had made a mistake here, he would win anyway, even despite like doing something out. And I think it's important to note that Shin Jinseo is indeed playing with his ego and pride, so to say. and making that mistake. And the reason why is because he has read it out and he's solved it and he knows the answer. And that is better than just guesswork. It's just objectively stronger. Know the answer. So, in my opinion, making any decision based on not completely reading it out is a skill issue and a mistake, not um, making the decision which is more risky whether because you haven't read it out. Like risk only comes from your own lack of information, and everything is on the board, right? So the real mistake is not getting all the information, not playing better and assuming that it's not possible to get the information. Of course, it's possible. Yeah, I guess we'll see KataGo try something here, but yeah, only after pushing in here because it's objectively better. We're gonna see the game end. Short order. Black wins by probably 10.5. Like, so the stream is saying 10.5. Predict TV stream. Or it's not Predict TV. Remaining endgame on the right side. 1 point here. Point Sente for white here, which would at the same time prevent the resources. Uh-huh. The left side is somewhat tricky. Like I've been reading it while being quiet. Sorry about that. Somewhat tricky. Seems like we won't get an answer from the players as to what exactly the most challenging variation is. I can always look at it on the stream, see what the pro commentators are saying. There's a 1 point go. Maybe Shin will try to win that. Where is the 1 point ko? Oh, you mean there's going to be a ko over here at the end? A10, A9, what? Cover? So you mean A10, A11, like this side? The trick that I noticed is that if you connect here at some point and this happens and then cut, you can get a target, I guess. But if connect here, then you could cut here. You could just get this cut in after getting this stone, then it's unconnectable. But I guess it's not possible to short the liberties of the outside. Excuse me. Yeah, the move here is scary. I have long since been slack and not bringing my AI all the way through, so it would be annoying to get it to give me an answer on the local KataGo. I guess I could try. The right answer to the peep here is to attach there, as expected. And then when white plays the Hane on top, you can come back to fix over here without necessarily even taking a liberty. Then if white connects to try to aim at the two cuts, you can connect here. If white cuts here, you can Atari first and connect, and they can't send liberties enough in order to come after you. Anyway. Is it possible to get SGFs for these games without a Fox account? I can download it and put it on my SGF library and then link that as soon as the game finishes for you guys. I'm probably not gonna make a YouTube video on this game. It was just too easy for Shin Jinseo. You know what rule set they're using? I don't know, but I would assume it's Korean rules. Enough point Komi to AI. The others were posted on Kifubara, right. So that's the last 1 point. And then there's this ko. And then oh, why didn't take the ko? How many? Oh, yeah, it's Korean rules, so the dame don't matter, do they? I think black is just going to take this dame because white just played here because white has so many co-threats. So Shin Jinseo is going to agree. White has so many co-threats. Black need not try to fight the ko, and then white will connect, and then pass, game over. How many points? 11 and a half? Really? 11 or 10? Did he end up winning by 11 and a half? Commentated new car. Make it short talking about the car, and then briefly mention the game. Would be funny. GG. A Genesis G90 is the car. Excellent. Yeah, this is a ridiculous result. I didn't predict this. I predicted that he was going to win by half a point or lose hard, and I thought it was more like lose hard. But he actually just completely dominated KataGo this game. Not in the sense that he won any fights, but just that strategically outplayed completely with the handicap gamesmanship that KataGo totally failed today. not put good pressure. Excuse me. On Shinjinso. There are easier ways to get a car. I don't know if this is like design method to go get a car. Aren't there pros failing at 4 stones now or something like that? Yeah, it's easy to fail at 4 stones. Probably the kind of thing only he could do. It certainly looked very easy, but Shinjinso wins by 11.5. Wow. He actually made it look... I don't think anyone else can make it look this easy. Even if he was playing against a supremely nerfed KataGo, it doesn't make sense to win by 11.5. It's actually crazy. He's grinning to himself now. He's like, "What? I could have given Noko me." He must be very, very happy with a win this dominant. Like literally no mistakes this game. Where is the actual game at? Yeah, okay. This is the delete that. So let me show you guys. Here's KataGo. Here's the graph, right? So this is earlier as the end game was starting, he was winning by 11.5 points. He ends up winning by 11.5 points. And here's the way that he got here. It was just minor mistakes only, a little bit of efficiency drift only. He took like slightly poor Joseki choices. Very, very slightly poor. In terms of total efficiency, in order to buy complete solidity. And then at this moment, I think in the future KataGo, when it's tuned to the aggression a little bit more, is going to be playing moves like this, moves like attach here, give Shinjinso more pressure. But in the actual game here, what happened is that the efficiency drift says KataGo gained a point or 2 through this sequence, but the game actually just ended. If it were me, I would have played here and lost a point, by the way. Compared to playing the outside move like Shinjinso. And then he played this one, which lost another 1.5. And then the game was literally just over the moment that he did it. And that's why he did it. So from there on out, nothing happened. No mistakes. Perfectly clean game by Shinjinso. Not even a single error throughout the game. From the perspective of winning as much as you possibly can. The game was kind of boring. That's incredible credit to Shinjinso. Yeah, only 2 moves greater than half-point loss, and both were incredible strategic decisions. Maybe an even game with lower playout can be more fun. Even game with no ponder and like 500 playouts. I don't think he'd be down for it, honestly. AI, like nerfing the AI in order to compete with it is kind of silly. AI should be AI. It should be allowed to show its full strength. Wasn't really in this game. Is more crushing win than Spain over Argentina. It's actually objectively true. Like, Spain made some mistakes, right? Argentina got the ball a couple times. KataGo did not touch the ball even one time in this entire match. Like, not even a single time. Do you think KataGo could have achieved a better result with more contempt for his Jinseo? Yeah, so some people, like when they play against AI, they have another human on the other side. Just make sure that it avoids easy Joseki, easy variations like this. It could have done a bit better if it itself was doing that, or even if it had a human doing that, even though that's kind of cringe. Yeah, KataGo could have achieved a better result here. It's an underwhelming performance from KataGo. But an incredible performance from Shinjinso. Perfect game. This is literally just a perfect game from Shinjinso. So that's you know, beautiful in its own right. Very, very well done. Jinseo would have put up a bigger fight against Spain today. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, thank you guys all for watching. We are gonna download the SGF. Oh, but they don't have it yet. They don't declare the victor and like make the SGF downloadable for a moment here. Maybe Taijum will let me download the SGF. I don't even know if I have Taijum. Computer. It's been a long time since I opened Taijum. Yeah, thank you all for watching, for stopping by. Fun stream. Oh, Taijum. But I can download the Fox game. Nice. Oh, not yet. Go. 11.5 points from an 18-point initial. He literally lost only 6.5 points, guys. He lost 6.5 points all game. That is nutty. What the heck? He lost 6.5 points all game. Literally flawless game. Absolutely incredible. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you later. Good night, everybody. It's time for me to go to bed too. Bye-bye.